someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we can be true, we can be true. I want you to see what I see in us, something so real, something so real. I want you to see that this is a love that we both feel, that we both feel. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. We've both been there before. When a love shuts the door, it's a losing game. It's a losing game. But this time it's more than another love war. This ain't the same. This ain't the same. They say love heals all. It makes it all alright. In time, in time. My heart still feels the breaking, but you make my world so bright. You feel so right. You feel so right. And how will we ever feel that what we got is real? There's no denying. There's no denying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying. It's terrifying. And how will we ever know if
What is up, everybody? We are back. We have, after 2 weeks, with some exciting things. Oh. I think Andrew's head is cut off a little bit here, so we're just gonna have to. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna fix Andrew's head while while we get started here. So, guys, we're back. Episode 88. Some crazy, exciting stuff happened in the past 2 weeks since we've last been here. Actually, I'm not even kidding. Uh, we have a couple of pieces of news to kind of discuss. I'm a little sick, so guys, please just don't mind me. I am congested. I sound pretty disgusting. So if you're hearing that, I apologize in advance. But yeah, so we're here. I might have to step aside to blow my nose a couple times. But yeah, so we're here. We're gonna be doing a Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, comic book nerds. Official stamp, not review. Yeah, review, not trailer. Because it finally came out. So, guys, if you have seen the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, stick around for that. We do have some news beforehand that we will discuss first, as always. But before we even start with anything, guys, how are you doing today? How is everything going?
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay.
A little slow. I wish, there were more plans and all that stuff, but I can't complain. We're still alive.
It's one of those weeks, I mean,
One of those.
yeah, the
It's
weather was
a
kind
long
of
week so far.
the what?
It's been a long week. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Just work's been rough. So
Hmm.
tired most of the time.
I feel that. I feel that. I will just say I do feel that. Yeah, it's just I feel like it's actually kind of funny because it's weird how time works, because I've noticed that a lot of the time where I'm like, man, that day just went by so fast. Other people are just like, I know that today flew, but then some people when the day's slow, they're like, yeah, it was a really slow day today. But I don't know what that, you know what I mean? Because time is such a concept, so it's sometimes when a day is fast for me, it could be really slow for someone else. But it just seems like whenever there's a really rough week, or it's just kind of a meh week, it kind of is that way for a lot, almost everyone that I talk to.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that we're all feeling the exact same type of time. Where it's oh, it's a long week. Everyone feels that long week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just a long week. I don't know. Could be because Andrew went out you went on a small vacation last week, so that might be it, because you're kind of maybe still on vacation mode.
Yeah.
Work for you, Shane. Weather for me, really. The weather in Massachusetts this week kind of really sucked. It was just weird, stupid weird, rainy but not rainy, but then it decided to rain, then it was sunny, and then it's a whole bunch back and forth thing. Then
I don't miss that.
Sucked. Yeah.
Miss the randomness of that weather.
The randomness is weird. I would appreciate a little bit of steadiness, but New England, what are you gonna do? I think we're hitting first fall soon, and then we'll go. You know what I mean?
Really gonna visit fall, man. That's my favorite time of year, but I never come during fall. I always either come directly in the middle of winter or around my birthday, which is summer.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we're
my favorite season's fall.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Summer ends at the end of September, I think. It's not
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Still got time, but I'm just saying it's weird. But yeah, guys, we're back at it, episode 88, almost 90 episodes in, which means almost 100, which is very exciting. So yeah, why don't we start getting kind of right into it? We got a couple news, some DC, some Marvel, some quick topics of conversation. But before we even get into the DC news, because I'm saving Marvel for last, obviously, because of the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, which we'll kind of finish up on. I'm very excited to hear your guys' opinion on this movie. I feel like there's some interesting takes that I heard. But for the first thing that we're going to do actually is The Last of Us Season 2 actually dropped a teaser trailer, which I'm very excited about. It's coming in January. It's coming in next year, very soon actually, and I'm really pumped. I think it's January. I'm so pumped for this show. Shane, I don't think have you watched any gameplay of the second game since we told you to?
No,
Okay.
I refuse to watch gameplays.
Then you're in for it. It is gonna be great.
Yeah. Everything that, because you guys hyped up the first season, got me like really into it, and I watched it, obviously super into it. And then the way you guys, like, when we finished watching it, and you guys are like, just wait till second season. I'm like, what the fuck you mean?
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
So the best part that I'm looking forward to for this is like Andrew and I, we know the game, right? We know both games. We know how this is gonna play, and I'm not gonna lie. So I watched the teaser trailer. Everything from this teaser trailer is pretty much from the video game. It looks just like the first. It looks so good. Like I will explain a little bit in when we watch the teaser trailer, but it is just phenomenal how accurate they're getting from this. But what's gonna excite me?
Oh, actually, no. I would just wait till the trailer. I was gonna ask a question, but
Oh, okay. No, what excites me the most is, especially since you haven't seen gameplay, like Andrew and I are going to be excited because we know the game, we know the show, and like we know what to expect, kind of. But with you, you know nothing. And this is going to be really fun because I would love to just see your reaction and hear your reaction of the episodes as it happens.
yeah.
Because
It's funny. I was like, so the one thing that I remember clearly you guys mentioning was like, there's gonna be a character that like I'll really hate or something.
oh yeah,
And like, I could just imagine myself like going into, because like I said, I don't play the game or whatever, so I don't know these things. But I'm like coming to you guys as if I just found out something new. And I was like, I imagined myself saying like, guys, oh my god, like, can you believe this character? Like, she fucking sucks.
yeah,
Basically, yeah.
we'll see.
As if
It's
like
either
they found out before you guys.
yeah, I think that like it's really gonna pick up either towards the end of the first episode or it's gonna pick up on the second episode. Like I just the vibe that I'm feeling, I don't know yet, but it's gonna be. I'm feeling it, and I'm feeling good, and I think it's gonna be great.
I mean,
So
the first season was good all the way through with each episode, so it's like I can imagine the second season probably the same thing, especially if like the storytelling is as good as you guys say it is.
oh, it will be. So I'm very
And then
excited
there's-
for that.
Because how many? Because there's only 2 versions, right, of the game.
There's only 2 games, yeah. So
Yeah. So does that mean this is gonna end?
not necessarily.
Like,
So the way that the second game ended off, it could lead to a third, but the game developers said that they will not make a third game unless they have a good enough story, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we're not going to just make a game to make a game. We'll make the game if we believe that the story actually works and that it's good enough for a third game to make. So they're
Yeah.
saying that they're really trying to make a third, but it could just end up being kind of like Game of Thrones, where like in Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin, he never finished the books. Yeah, so the show ended, but when they were on the last season, because they made all the seasons and they were hoping like George would like come up with the book by the time they reached the last season, but they never did. So George actually, he kept on throwing away pieces of paper. He just didn't think that anything was good enough for the last book. So he said he went to the developers and he was like, this is what I have. This is where I would like for it to go. And then basically gave them creative things, which we all know what happened there because it sucked last season. I mean, the ending was whatever, but like it just wasn't great because they, I guess, they rushed it and everything. But that could very well be what happens in
but
this show.
I feel like they'll definitely decline the show that way because it's only as good as it is because of how well the story was told in the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like,
Well, so to that point, the second game ended as if it could have just completely ended, or it could go to a third. But like, so I guess like that was good because I guess the developers were like, we might make a third, we might not make a third, but the way that the second ended, it's like it pretty much ended. So if they decided to make a third, it would still be a continuation off of what happened, but you could easily end it on the second. So even with this second season, it could just be a short series, and they could end it on the second season. But if the show, like the creators of the show, decide that they want to go further, they might actually just end up going further, and the producers might actually just move with them instead of making a third game. Maybe the producers of the video game just help create the third season of the show, so that way they still have the show go in the direction that they want it to go into. I hope they make a third video game. This is my favorite series, but yeah, we could just be seeing
like
What's up?
The way the second one ended, I feel like that's the end of those characters' story. Like that's the end of their story.
Right.
So if they make a third one, I could see like a spin-off like of another character and then start new but within the same realm. And then at some point maybe we'll get cameos from the previous characters like to show up and all that stuff. But other than that, I don't see like the story of these specific characters that were still at the end of the game. I don't see them like having any more to add to the story because they're done.
I could definitely see them making a story about Abby, because of how it ended with her. I could see it because the way it ended.
You know, we at least think that like that this season, instead of like each game is each season, that they're just gonna extend the second season to be a very longer story told for the second game.
There's so much that happens in this show, and I will say there is a lot compared to the first game. This game has a lot of stuff. They could easily break it into 2 seasons for sure if they don't want to like stretch it out like that. Because the thing is, in the video game, the second video game is broken up into 2 perspectives. So it's broken up into well, I won't say much more than that, but I'll just say that you play as 2 different characters in the game who are living 2 different lifestyles. So it's not like in the first game you get Joel, right? And then you can play as Joel and I forget her name. Why can't I remember her name? The girl.
Was it Ellie?
Ellie, thank you. God, I've been trying to remember her name. But you can play as Joel or Ellie in the first game. In the second game, you play as characters that are in the same, like, living, like, next to each other. So, like, for example, you play as Joel and you play as Ellie. But then you also play as another character who is like in a different area doing their own thing, living their own life. So you could definitely probably break this up into 2 separate seasons, especially with the amount of lore that is out in this game and like the just the storytelling and everything. You can easily, I could for sure say, yeah, I'm with confidence I could say it, that they could break it up into 2 parts if they really wanted to, and that way they can.
I feel like how they pace, because literally like the first season of The Last of Us, it summed up the whole first game,
right,
and the DLC, which is like a big DLC too. So they managed to do those 2 full games into 1 season. So I don't know if they're going to be able to break up.
Well, I mean, that means we know that they have the ability to condense it into 1 season and do it well.
Right.
But like if they're trying to do like a money grab thing and
milk it.
More,
they can milk it and break it up into 2 seasons, or they can milk it because they think that the developers are very close with this project, so they could easily have talked with them and said, hey, like we're really close to developing a 3rd game, you know, like, and then the producers might be like, all right, we'll stretch this into 2 seasons, and then hopefully the game will be done by then, or something, you know what I mean? Or they just hold off, nothing happens.
I really hope they don't extend it, because the second game, like whatever happened, the rest of the game, I fucking hated this character, and I wanted this character to die, like just die. So the whole entire time span afterwards, just me hating this character and just wanting death to happen to this person.
Which was so good.
And that's just the game. I can't imagine waiting week after weeks, like. And deal with this frustration just for the ending to happen. You know what I mean?
I have a feeling she'll play her character pretty well, but we'll see. I mean, I would love for a 3rd game to come out, but the show could very easily just put itself on pause until a 3rd show is out. I mean, like I said, I guess we'll just have to feel it out. But
definitely.
Either way, here it is. So this is a teaser. It's a minute long. I'm fucking pumped. So let's take a look.
Everything has changed since I brought her back.
Did you hurt her? And what? What did you do? Joel Miller.
Who are you?
I am your consequence. I don't care.
Joel, what happened? I saved her.
That's it.
Mm.
That is it.
Man, this already get me hyped.
Yeah,
I'm
I
telling
can
you.
already tell.
I'm telling
Was
you.
there like some reveals in this that like you're like, oh, that's the character?
What's up, Dante?
Like, were you guys thought
So
few
she's
characters?
only in the teaser very quickly. You know that girl that was crawling underneath the gate? It was like collapsing on her. That is Abby. So she is a character. She's a new character in the show and the video games that you will get to know very well. There's a new girl too. I don't. She's played. I remember I mentioned like the characters or the actors and actresses that are gonna be in this, but Tommy is in it, like which is Joel's brother. He's back. There are some definite new characters in this whole thing. So like when you watch the teaser, like where they were in like that room and everyone was dancing and there was the lights hanging out like that. You go to the video game, it's literally exactly like that. Like they did so good in recreating that whole thing.
Love it.
And that whole the whole tribe scene where people was like running after the specific person.
Yeah.
That shit in the game was intense as fuck. So I can only imagine how they do it as a show.
Was. And that scene where like Ellie was hiding behind a tree and there was like a bunch of people with torches, exactly like the game. Seriously,
that
like,
was
that was the cover of the video game. I'm pretty sure that was the cover.
That was cover, and that was also the showcase for the game, like to tease the audience. It was a showcase to play Elliot in that scene right there, which is dope.
So
I'm so glad they're doing weekly reviews, guys, for this.
Oh, we'll probably do that.
We'll probably do it.
Yeah, because I think the episodes come out on Sundays. But what was I going to say too? I hope that they bring in more of the voice actors for this stuff because I think that would be awesome if they brought those. I think they will, but it's just incredible. I think that the show is going to be so good. Like I'm telling you, and the thing is too, in the video game, the action sequences, the story, and everything is. You think it was dark in the first one? It's twice as dark in this one. It like the action is more violent. The way that like the killing, the final killing moves, like if you played as Ellie, even as Ellie, you played as Ellie and like she would like, how they have like takedowns and like you just see the animation of the takedowns. Her animations of takedowns were fucking brutal. And like Joel's was brutal. Everyone, it was all insane. Like just like killing people was just crazier. And like the walkers were crazier. Like everything was just so good. So I think it's going to be an intense second season. It's going to be really, and I think it's going to be scarier too. Cause I think there was a lot of actual creepy stuff that happened in the second season, video game.
Definitely going to be a tearjerker too.
100%. 100%.
I love you.
I rewatched the first episode of The Last of Us season 1, man. That shit got me just one tear. Like, oh my god!
Just the first episode?
Yeah, I had to. I wanted to feel something.
Yeah. What about the fifth episode? The one with Bob?
Yeah.
I gotta get there. Yeah.
I think I'll rewatch the whole. I think I'm gonna rewatch the whole show first.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! That's kind of why like I didn't. That's why I kind of didn't want to like just jump into the whole thing again because I'm like I'm just gonna do the whole binge the moment season 2 comes out.
Yeah, I mean it's worth it too. It's not like it's just like a waste of time for you to try and remember what happened. Like it's a really good show.
Right.
So that is the Last of Us teaser.
That got me hyped.
Yeah, and it's only gonna get better from here when they officially release the first trailer. So I think that's gonna be insane. So now we're gonna hit up some DC news, which first news is actually going to be talking about the show in the background of Andrew's TV here, and that's Batman Caped Crusader. So Batman Caped Crusader, I thought it was a movie. I don't know if anyone actually knew it was a TV show.
I thought that was a movie.
Yeah.
I knew it was a TV show. We said it was a TV show.
Did I? I don't remember saying it. But it's a TV show. It has 10 episodes. It aired all at the same time. You can watch it on, I think, Max or is it
Amazon
Max?
Prime.
Okay, Amazon Prime. So you can watch it at Amazon Prime. For those of you who have Amazon Prime, TV show, I think it takes place in like the 60s. That's the vibe that I got, like 60s, 70s. But it's like I heard it was incredible. It released with a perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes, and up until today, it has a 97% rating. I have only seen the first episode, so I don't know how the rest of the episode is. I haven't had the time, but eventually, we'll watch it, we'll review it, and give our 2 cents on this TV show here. But yeah, it's supposedly a really good show. So if you guys are fans of Batman and the animated series and stuff, then I would recommend giving this a try and checking it out. This is interesting. The next piece of news that I'm about to say, Kumail Nanjiani. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but apparently he's been confirmed. Huh?
I was saying it's Kamal Nanjiani.
Kamal Nanjiani.
Yeah.
So Kamal Nanjiani, he was confirmed. He has been confirmed to play Booster Gold in the DCU.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Booster Gold.
I mean, I'm not like
I'm not against it.
I don't really care too much about Booster Gold, so like
I don't
Booster
care.
Gold is a very
because I feel like Booster Gold, rather than just being this white guy with blonde hair, his whole thing is his personality.
Yeah,
and as long as you portray that personality, then yeah, I'm in.
I think that this actor will portray his personality very well. I just don't like him. I don't like him his acting. I think he's annoying.
Really?
I don't like him. I didn't like him in Eternals. I just don't really like. He kind of annoys me. I just I don't know. He's good. I'm not saying he's bad. I just think he's annoying.
I've seen him in like comedy things, and like his portrayal in those, I feel like would fit well with who Booster Gold is.
100%.
So like it'll be like a good laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched Ghostbusters, the Frozen Empire. I don't know
the new one.
Yeah, the newest one. He's in it. Yeah, he was I guess somewhat of a major character in the show, but his personality in that movie kind of fits Booster Gold's personality, where it's like cocky douchebag but funny, like mainly funny. Yeah, he did that like pretty well, so I could see it.
His comedic personality in general is very similar to Booster Gold's. Like I wouldn't say he like acts cocky, but like just his comedy, I think he could do pretty well. I wasn't expecting it, but here he is. So he is playing Booster Gold in the DCU.
He ain't gonna waste Marvel superhero body that he got.
Yeah, that's true.
No, right? Yeah.
But he supposedly, so there was announced. I don't know where they're going to release him. I don't know where he's coming in, but he's here.
I think James Gunn said Booster Gold. Was it James Gunn? I think it was James Gunn that said Booster Gold was like his favorite character. So I feel like he's probably going to make Booster Gold like his own movie, which is kind of weird, but
there wasn't anything announced. I think he might make a cameo and then maybe have his own movie, but I don't know.
I don't even know what his like, because I know his origin, which is kind of stupid, but like to give him his
from like the future or something like that. And
he's from the future who came to the past because the future is oversaturated with heroes, so he couldn't get famous from it. So he decided to come to the past and become famous as a superhero, and that's basically his whole thing. And then he just does superhero shit, even though he was more of just a poser in the beginning, and then became like a superhero.
Yeah, so I don't really know too much about him. I just remember like he's just in things that I see. You know what I mean? Like
he's just always a side character. He's never really a main character.
Yeah, I never really heard anything about like a Booster Gold TV show or like movie or something or comic. I was.
Oh, I guess he's getting his own series. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
They're doing series?
I guess. Yeah, they're doing series. The next trailer that we're going to be watching is actually from
Creature Commando.
Creature Commando, which is an animated series, but that is technically a part of the timeline. So it's a part of DCU, and then they're saying that even though it's animated, they would bring in those voice actors and actresses into real live action. So everything is going to be linked, even if it's animated. It's just a matter of like how. So they're doing an MCU thing, like, but yeah.
Which is weird because he's getting his own series Booster Gold. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's really weird. I don't really know how they can make a whole thing unless they have some people coming into the show other than him. I don't really know. I
feel like maybe because this is like, to me, it costs less to like do show stuff, so like they do it as a soft launch for characters that they don't know if it's gonna do well. And if it does really well, like they'll like really lean into the story for movies. So maybe it could be something like that.
But that can probably hurt the movie also. Like, because if you're gonna bring us a character like Booster Gold, where I don't think majority of the world knows who this character even is, like, should we even like look forward to the new DC universe when this is the character you're starting out with? You know what I mean?
I mean, they were already saying that they wanted to fucking bring out a Supergirl movie right off the bat, and I was like, bro,
weird, man.
yeah, that was ridiculous. So
She's
I don't know what kind of direction he's trying to go in. Maybe he's just trying to do, like, he's trying to do like a reverse thing of Marvel, where it's like Marvel had all these like big A-game like characters to bring people in, entice them, and then now that they've fallen out, like they're trying to trickle in more characters, new characters. So he's gonna do a soft launch of all these unknown characters, and then the main ones come, and then you get hyped. Who knows?
I think he should have just like put all his focus on that Green Lantern series and then give us that shit.
Oh God, yeah,
that would have been a good soft launch, quote unquote soft launch.
Yeah,
Green Lantern.
Who knows? Maybe, but he is gonna be Booster Gold, so I guess we'll see how that works out. The next news is actually just the last piece of news for DC. Like I said, we don't really have much going on here, so we're gonna switch on over again and watch this trailer for Creature Commandos, which is a DC show coming out. I don't remember. December. It's coming out on December on Max. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this right now. Hold on just a second. I have to fix it. So because there's more to this. There we go. All right, so here is Creature Commando. It's the first trailer. It's about 1.5 minutes. So let's get on into it. Let's give it a watch and let's talk about it for a little bit.
General Flag. This is Belle Reve. For over 50 years, only those at the uppermost levels are aware of its existence.
I thought Congress put a stop to all Task Force X activities.
Congress said we can't use human prisoners. These assholes aren't human.
You smiling?
Yes.
Sarcastically?
Mm-hmm. He's pissing!
This is your new task force.
It's been oh so long since G.I. Robot has sent Nazis back to hell.
Let's call it Task Force M. M for Monster. Also known as...
Okay, thoughts?
So it looks like they kept the same actress for Waller.
Waller, yeah, it sounds like her.
Yeah,
it does sound like her.
I'm actually excited about this because it seems like a fun watch and like a different like aspect of like DC that you don't see often. So like the fucking supernatural characters type shit.
Yeah.
Like
it seems seems a little childish to me, but
oh no, it's definitely like probably childish.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna be really goofy.
I'll check it out. I mean, I'll give it a try, but I don't know. I don't have too much. I don't have like a high expectation for it.
Yeah.
I don't.
The animation style's really good though, so like
yeah,
it seems fun. Like it'll be exciting to watch.
All that James Gunn's been giving us is Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and all this thing, and it's just been the same concept for me. Right. And I'm like, I don't really care for it. Yeah, right now. Give me something different, and then maybe I'll come back to this. But
we'll see. We'll see. But that was it for DC news. Honestly, there really wasn't much going on. The bigger news is actually Marvel, because Marvel had San Diego Comic-Con. So I think the last time that we were on 2 weeks ago, that was actually the weekend that San Diego Comic-Con actually happened. They released a whole bunch of stuff, including what we're going to kind of be talking about right now. 2 Avengers movies that are going to be coming out. Avengers Doomsday, May of 2026, and then Avengers Secret Wars, which is going to be coming out the year after May of 2027. So I think they're going to be doing some sort of Infinity War Endgame type thing where they're going to make us wait an entire year to find out what happens. You know what I mean? But that seems like what's going to happen here. And I don't know. I'm kind of I hope it's okay, because Secret Wars is something I've been looking forward to, and I'm really hoping that they do a decent job there. Now, the big news though that came with San Diego Comic-Con, the biggest piece of news. So 2 weeks ago, I said something. We talked about something here about Robert Downey Jr. being Dr. Doom. And everyone was like, maybe that's going to be a thing. I don't really entirely know. That was just a rumor. Apparently that rumor was true, because during the San Diego Comic-Con, Robert Downey Jr. revealed himself as Dr. Doom, and it was confirmed. So, thoughts. Here's my thought. I'm going to say real quick. At first, I was like, this could be really good, because I was like, all right, like, Robert Downey Jr., he could be like, he's going to be coming back as a variant of Tony Stark, and he's going to like do it in the comic book where, like, you know, he gets access to Iron Man like technology, and he's going to be like super OP, right? Where like he figures out, because in the comics it's crazy, because he can figure out how to temporarily disable everyone's powers. Like he can take down a whole bunch of heroes. Like he took down a lot of people as Tony Stark's Dr. Doom. The problem that I have is that the Russo brothers, who are directing Secret Wars and everything, they announced Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom. So that's what kind of pisses me off, is they said that they would not have, or they can't think of a better Victor Von Doom than this person, and that's Robert Downey Jr. If it's Victor Von Doom, no. If it's Tony Stark, yes. But I don't understand how they're going to create him as Victor Von Doom. It doesn't make any sense when he is a part of the MCU. No matter what universe, Tony Stark is always Tony Stark. You know what I mean? Like, I guess he could be different. I guess, like, Tony Stark could look different, but, like, it's the part that
really, like, if they keep him as Victor Von Doom, no Iron Man variant Von Doom, like, the part, like, that feels like a tarnish to, like, Iron Man itself. But then, like, you know they're gonna address that, like, oh, you look like Tony Stark. You know, like, they can't just recycle an actor so close from the last movie he was in that, like, you know what I mean, one of the most memorable ones, and like try to play him off as like, oh yeah, this is straight up Victor Von Doom. This is 616 Victor Von Doom. Like he's been alive the whole time. This isn't a variant.
So here's the thing: it's not 616's Victor Von Doom, because 616 is Tony Stark. Tony Stark is 616. You know what I mean? So this is a different universe, and they already said it, because he's going to be introduced in the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out soon. But the Fantastic Four movie is taking place in the 60s, and it's going to be an entirely different universe. But eventually that universe is going to link in, obviously, because the Avengers movie coming out in 2026, that's Doomsday. So that is Dr. Doom. So that's clearly going to be Robert Downey Jr. But my whole point is Dr. Doom is going to leak into Secret Wars, because that's how Secret Wars is going to be created. So Dr. Doom is going to be in there. That means he is going to be Victor Von Doom in Earth 616, because he's going to be a part of that world at some point. But it's just and to your point, you know, all the heroes in 616 could probably be like, oh my God, Tony, and then he'll be like, who the fuck is Tony? But like, I don't really know how they're going to play this one out, especially if they want him to be a Victor Von Doom. That's kind of what really threw me off.
Well, isn't the story with Iron Man becoming Dr. Doom is because Victor Von Doom took over Tony Stark's mind?
There is a story that has.
I think that's what they're going for, because it's probably going to be a different world, different Earth, where this happened, where he takes over Tony Stark's mind and obviously Robert Downey Jr.'s body, and then he's going to find his way into the 616 world And like Adam said, like people's gonna be like Tony, and then he'd be like, well, not your Tony, but I'm
Maybe
Victor.
he disguises himself as Tony to get their trust. Yeah, I can see it.
Probably. But that's like the whole thing.
It's such a big reveal to give us Tony Stark, freaking Robert Downey Jr. as an introduction, and then like downplay his entire role in the whole thing. Because I mean, someone was saying that like this, it's a possibility that like since Marvel has been kind of falling off recently, like they think of like bringing back like an old school all-star to like reinvigorate Marvel fans, and so that's why they chose him specifically.
Yeah,
Do this role, whatever role it is that he's doing, either a variant or actual Von Doom and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, like that's the story writing has to be.
You got to give him a pass because obviously what we're about to like review, they didn't touch Logan. Technically,
that's true.
So they could do it with, with the Logan that we loved, the movie that we loved and cried to, and didn't tarnish it in a way where it rubbed me off wrong. I mean, I'm pretty sure they could do this with Tony Stark.
Yeah, I'm sure they have some sort of plan. It's just as of right now, introducing him as Victor Von Doom is a little off-putting, but I'm sure, like obviously, like you said, Marvel tends to have a certain direction where they're going into, so we can't knock it till we try it. It's just weird. It is weird.
From the information we're getting now, it's a bit weird, but obviously the track records of the Russo brothers.
The Russo brothers have made some of the best Marvel movies in all of the phases. Like they made.
I still haven't seen Civil War.
Civil War is good, but Winter Soldier was amazing, and they directed Winter Soldier. They've directed Endgame. I mean, they directed some of Marvel's best hits. So to direct this, I imagine that they're gonna kind of. I think that they're gonna. I think they're gonna be okay, but we'll just have to see. I don't know. It is just really interesting. I'm filled with kind of different emotions about it, but also what they did was what I mentioned. I think we mentioned 2 weeks ago. We mentioned that Kevin Feige said that after Deadpool and Wolverine, we're really kind of starting to go into the mutant era of things. So they actually announced Phase 7 in SDCC. And it is literally all mutants. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up this timeline here. They don't really have any official dates, but I will just kind of make it bigger so that we can kind of read off of it. So first thing that we're going to be seeing, and some of these are Disney Plus shows, so you can see Disney Plus right at the bottom. They're making a Scarlet Witch movie. So that's coming first. So obviously she's not dead. We're just going to have to figure out what happened. Then they're making a Wolverine movie. A Beast TV show. They're making a third Black Panther movie, but they're making a new Black Panther. They might go on to his kid. I don't know how far along into the future this is really going to be, but it's Wakanda Reborn, so they're rebranding Black Panther. They're finally doing Star-Lord TV show, so that'll happen on Disney Plus there. Jean Grey is getting her own movie. The Marvels again are like, for whatever reason they're happening, but it has
mutants in it, that's why.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is the S is in the shape of Miss Marvel this time, so I wonder if it's going to really kind of do that, but I don't know why they're doing them. Whatever, the Marvels is the Marvels, but obviously they have to have her in it because the chick ended up getting teleported into a different universe, so I think they have to try and solve that. I don't fucking know. They also have the Avengers, Young Avengers, I think that says. They have a Storm movie coming out. They have Heroes for Life, which is coming out on Disney Plus. They also have a new Captain America movie coming out, so there's going to be a third. This dude's going to be 50 when he's making this movie, Captain America. And then Mutants TV show. There's going to be... what is this?
Coming of Galactus.
Coming of Galactus, yes, thank you.
Oh, the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, there's going to be another Fantastic Four movie, and then there's going to be X-Men. So these are all the Phase 7 movies that have been announced to us. Very, very mutant heavy. Like insanely mutant heavy. So
I just gotta see who they're gonna cast for Wolverine because, like, I don't imagine Hugh
No, it's not going
winning
to
the
be Jack.
franchise. Yeah,
It really isn't.
There was like I guess a press junket or like an interview, I guess, with Ryan Reynolds' wife. New
Blake
movie that's
Lively?
coming out.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was like It Ends With Us or something like that. And
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds did a little comedy thing
Yes,
with
I
the
saw
actor.
that.
yeah, it's really good.
He
And
looks
at the
like he
end
could
of
be
the-
Wolverine.
And at the end of it, like Hugh Jackman's like he could play Wolverine.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah. So who knows?
Imagine
Maybe it's that guy.
reveal.
Yeah.
He could be Wolverine. He kind of looks it. I could see him. I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, Phase 7. My only concern is that this is a little too much X-Men. Like, I think that what I kind of
Didn't it say it was a
appreciate.
mutant phase though, right?
What's up?
Did they say it was, or they declared it a mutant phase?
Yeah, it's so they're going into the mutant era. But so now we're kind of seeing the mutant era, but they're really digging into a mutant phase in Phase 7. My only thing is like, I just I was gonna say like phases 1 through 3, even 4 and 5. It hasn't been like the same thing. It's it's always had like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, like they all had their own movies. Then they come together for one movie, and then they would all kind of have their own movies. But they all weren't X-Men. That's the thing. Like they're all superheroes, but they're all doing their own thing. Like Thor was off in a different world, like Tony Stark did his own thing. Captain America was off doing other missions. Whereas in X-Men, they're all X-Men. Like my only problem is like we're gonna get too much X-Men. It's a little overloaded of X-Men.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that might just be a little bit of a drag.
It's probably gonna be like a bunch of origin stories, and then like them still being in the same house. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like
like is it gonna be a new X-Men or is it gonna be an existing X-Men? Because if it's a new X-Men and they do all of their origin stories to where they basically they form the X-Men, that might be a little bit different. But I doubt that would kind of be a thing. That wouldn't make any sense.
I mean, they can't, because there's too many solo X-Men's, and I'm a little mad that they still didn't give us Gambit, but,
Yeah.
Like,
we'll talk about Gambit.
Oh, yeah. It's too many, they're sprinkling too much X-Men stuff that, like, the rest of the Marvel Universe is kind of, like, feeling behind, you know what I mean? Like, weren't they, like, working on like a new like Spider-Man at some point, or Shang-Chi was supposed to come back and shit?
Yeah, that's
like,
probably going to be phase like 6 and 7, but I mean, and they'll probably sprinkle it in because they usually change some of this stuff, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah.
We have no with this many movies, it's got to be condensed for the next couple of years, isn't it? Like that's
this is 2030.
This is all in 2030. Oh,
this is all no, not all of it is happening in 2030, but like that's why I said like Anthony Mackie's going to be like 50. Yeah. Anthony Mackie's going to be like 50 years old by the time that new Captain America movie comes out, because it's literally like, I'm pretty sure I saw the dates are on here. They're just too small for me to read right now. But let me actually see if I can read it. Sorry, I'm pushing. I know I don't have any stuff here. I can't enlarge in it. Yeah, so X-Men, that X-Men movie that's at the end there, that's coming out in 2031. So it's all kind of like, I think it's like from 2028 to 2031. And I mean, we're going to be like, damn. Like I'm at 2031, it's 2024 right now, so 24 plus 7. I'm going to be 38. I'm going to be 38.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to be like in our 40s, just and like finishing up the X-Men and wondering what the hell the next phase is going to be. And like Anthony Mackie's going to be 50. Freaking all these other characters that are going to be playing these people, like who knows how old they're going to be. Tom Holland is going to be like
looking
40.
at our life through scales of Marvel movies is so depressing to think about.
The craziest thing to hear is like Tom Holland is like, I think he's like 27 right now. Right? Let me see Tom Holland. Hold on. Tom Holland age.
I think we're frozen on Twitch.
Oh shoot. Yeah, you are. Hold on, give me 1 second. We should be better now. Yeah, we're in. But I'm not in. I don't know why I'm not in. as I'm fixing myself, ooh, there we go. So Tom Holland at the moment is 28 years old. So Tom Holland is going to be like 36. That's hard to believe, especially since we saw him when he was like playing Spider-Man, like when he was like 20 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really like insane, just the span of like what's going to be happening in the next like couple of years. But they seem to have a plan, so who knows? But yeah, so that is a very heavy X-Men related thing. And now, guys, the moment that we have, I just deleted myself. Well, shit. I deleted the wrong damn thing. Is there a way to like undo? Yes. Okay, thank God. I'm back. Phase 7, that's what I was supposed to delete. All right. So now the moment that we've all been waiting for, guys, we are about to do the Deadpool and Wolverine review. So let me just get there real quick. All right, guys, here we are. Deadpool and Wolverine. So as we all know, Deadpool and Wolverine came out 2 weeks ago. We have all seen it. Guys, I don't know about you, if you have seen it or not. Let me just kind of explain, how we kind of do things a little bit over here. So first of all, we are professional non-professionals. All right, we review movies. I think that the three of us have a good, a fair rating for these movies, to be honest with you. After we compare and give our average, we're pretty spot on, honestly, to give fair, accurate reviews. So if you are the type of person, or if you're just a person that hasn't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, what we do is we do a non-spoiler review first. So that way you can get like an idea, maybe like if you were on the fence about seeing this movie. I don't know why you'd be on the fence about seeing this movie, but if you were on the fence about seeing this movie and you kind of just couldn't decide and you want to hear from us whether or not it's worth it to see it in theaters, or if you just kind of want to wait until it comes out of theaters and you can watch it online or just like on streaming services, go ahead, go right for it. We'll do our non-spoiler review and give you our thoughts. But then after that, we go in depth. We really talk about the nitty gritty, what we loved, what we didn't like, what we kind of, think could have been better. And then we rate our whole thing off of a few things. So we actually rate our movies off of the story or plot, character, the characters in the movie, the action in the movie, the CGI, the soundtrack, and then we give our overall rating of the movie. So stick around for that if you guys have seen it. And if you guys have seen it, feel free to join in. We would love to hear your opinion. We'd love to hear your rating and just kind of compare and contrast what we rate it to compared to what you rate it. And we'd love to hear what you liked, what you didn't like, everything and beyond. So without further ado, I think we will get started on the non-spoiler edition of the thing. So we all saw it, guys. I know it's been 2 weeks, but we got to try and remember it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I've watched it twice already. So. Did you see it? Wow, nice. Yeah. It's really, really good. I'll start. So I'll say something, a piece of mine. So first of all, I love the movie. I think it's hilarious. I think it's a typical Deadpool movie, right? So the thing about a Deadpool movie is you have to realize that a lot of it really isn't. I mean, it's still comic accurate, but a lot of it is it's a fun movie. Deadpool movies are supposed to be a fun movie. All right, if you're looking for a crazy Marvel heavy comic accurate kind of movie, then this is not the movie for you. All right, this is supposed to be a fun, not family friendly movie with a lot of jokes, a lot of fourth wall breaking, and just in general. Now, what I noticed from a lot of people, actually, including my wife, is so this is the craziest thing. It's not really like a comic accurate movie, but unless you know everything about every movie that has come out that is Marvel related, you are not going to understand a lot of these jokes. Because the thing is, there's a lot of movies that are out. For example, I'm not saying that this is just an example, but what I'm saying is like, unless you saw like the 1980s like Punisher movie, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you might not actually understand some of these jokes, or like you might not understand some of the cameos that came out, or you might not understand just in general what's going on. A lot of the jokes really kind of flew past my wife's head, and I had to explain some of it. She still liked the movie. She thought it was hilarious, but she did say that she would have enjoyed it a lot more if she understood the jokes or the story, like, and what was going on. So it's really a heavy fan base movie too. So I will warn you, if you're not comic friendly and you're not really comic knowledge or movie knowledge on this stuff, and you just kind of want to watch the movie to watch the movie because you like the Deadpool movies, you might lower like your rating compared to like what we might rate it, because we knew what was going on. So overall, I still think that you'll like the movie as a fun movie, but you might kind of think differently depending on what happens. I think the CGI was good at times, a little wonky at some points. The story and plot, to be honest with you, I thought was a little messy. I didn't really think there was a lot of story or plot into this movie. It wasn't very heavy on that, so I think it could have been better on that. Action was incredible, in my opinion. The characters obviously were amazing. The soundtrack was perfect in my mind. We'll talk more about that when we get into the actual spoiler review section of that. But overall, I would say that it is definitely a movie worth watching in theaters. And that's my little non-spoiler review.
Snowy.
Yeah, what'd you guys think?
No. I thought it was okay. The movie was good. That's all I can say.
So you said okay.
Yeah, it's okay because it's like it's definitely different from the first and second Deadpool movie.
It 100% is.
Like definitely different. Like reason why I said it's okay.
That's the Disney budget.
Yeah,
that's what it
Disney
is.
budget, but I feel like they really went hard on the fourth wall breaking.
They overdid a lot of stuff in this one.
I would agree.
Yeah, so let's start with the plot, right? So definitely, the plot is like the most basic plot in like comic book movies in general. Like it's just like the most basic thing ever. Where I'm like, okay, so the plot is unnecessary. It's just to me, it's just to introduce these characters into this universe. Like that's because like this plot is not needed at all. Like that was just that. I have like these notes here. The character obviously, like, it's not much to say. You know, they did their job right. Deadpool did his job right. Wolverine did his job right. Just about every character that shows up on the screen, it's likable and funny. The action. I can probably name 2 scenes where I really liked the actions, but most of the action, to me, the way it was directed kind of bothered my eyes, where I'm like, all right, they could have toned it down a bit, and we can get into that like during the spoilers and stuff like that. I kind of have to disagree with the soundtrack, because again, it just becomes too much. Like the first and second Deadpool, they use it enough times where it's like, okay, yeah, this is some throwbacks. You know, you can jam out to it. You feel the mood, you feel the vibe, and it's part of the action. It's awesome. But then then they stop, and there's a moment of like a story, and you can actually listen to the story, and you have to pay attention to the story. You can pay attention to the characters, and then you can actually give a fuck about the plot. Like that's how the first and second one went about. The third one, the plot itself is already basic, but the soundtrack was just every left corner of this movie is a soundtrack. And it's an oldie, and it became too much for me. I'm like, enough with this thing. So not really too hyped about the soundtrack. CGI was amazing. That's obviously, like, Deadpool has been, from low budget to mid budget to high budget, their CGI been great the whole entire time. There's probably like only like maybe a couple of scenes where I thought was a bit wonky, but overall, the movie, like I said, it was okay to good. I definitely recommend watching it. It's definitely going to be a fun movie to watch. You're definitely going to laugh your ass off. That's for sure. Definitely going to laugh a lot. But yeah, that's my thought on it.
Shane?
Clearly my review is going to be a lot higher.
Yeah, definitely.
First of all, great movie. Okay, we're not going to go with the okay. Great movie. All right? It's only this movie where like you have so many rumors of cameos and storylines and like all these things that they have, and still be surprised and excited about the reveals that you find out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like just the cameos and like the reveals alone makes this like worth going to. Right? It's a Deadpool movie, so it's like fun, hilarious, and stuff like that. So like I never really care for like plot lines for Deadpool, because if you ever read any of his comics, he just goes fucks around and he's a mercenary. That's really what his whole thing is. So like I would never put his into the storyline of like an X-Men movie or like an Avengers movie, stuff like that. It's just him doing whatever the fuck he wants, which he does perfectly. You know what I mean? And like, so like, obviously, after the last movie, we knew like the time jumping. We knew he was going to come into the MCU, so time variance was like a very obvious like next step, and like using that to like heavily push the next reveal, the next cameo, and like all these characters, because it's when you say comic accurate, it's like I wouldn't even call it comic accurate. It's movie cinema pop culture accurate. You know what I mean? They like reveal just pop culture media rather than any of the comic book stuff. Like they do give us a few of like OG comic reveals, which fucking gorgeous. Absolutely love. Yeah. But like the follow through from the beginning intro, phenomenal song as a choice. That's my karaoke song. You know what I mean? All the way through the back and forth between him and Wolverine, which is like a great duo. You know what I mean? It's just like this dude who's dumb as fuck and does whatever he wants, and like a very serious character, which he reprised that role incredibly. Like there's certain scenes where he's just speaking, and I'm like, oh shit, like, because like everything I know about Hugh Jackman, he's such a nice, sweet guy, like that you see him on like media, like social media and stuff like that. And like to go hard in this role, I'm like, bro, like he's great. You know what I mean? I'm glad they brought him back in for it. But like, it's definitely worth watching. It's a fun movie, and even if they end it here, perfectly fine with that. You know what I mean? I do hope like Deadpool does eventually like make an appearance with Spider-Man and stuff like that.
Sure,
as a little side thing. Yeah, but like, yeah, his movies never need to make sense.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It just has to be fun and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
In my defense, to what I said, they made the first and two made sense. The first one and the second one made sense, and then they switched it up.
Oh, because the first and second one. If you think about it, the first
like,
one
basically you're giving us a brand new movie right here. Like that to me, it's like this. If they started with this as the Deadpool one, I would have been like, this is the perfect Deadpool. But because you gave me the first two, I'm like, all right. So now I got to like take my headspace out of it. Where now I'm seeing you more as a parody than an actual movie. You know what I mean?
After the second movie of him resetting the universe in a sense, like it's a free for all. You know what I mean? He revived some of the X-Force people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just to be a part of his little crew, and like it's so random, and like so like this entire thing was basically like a setup to show that like it's a free for all of storylines, and there is like in it not having a general plot other than classic superhero save the world shit. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, like they got the premise of what a superhero is. The rest of it, now we can just enjoy the rest of Deadpool. That's what it is. To me, the back burner is the storyline. The back burner is the story. This is the one time that I feel like that's okay to have because of what kind of character Deadpool is, which is why I'm so like why I rate it so high. You know what I mean? Like if this was like Wolverine's movie, I'm like, nah, what kind of story is that? Like what the fuck? That's so basic.
I get you, but we'll make it to a spoiler.
Yeah.
I can
that's my review.
The details, but yeah,
that's my non-spoiler review.
Awesome. So, the review as a non-spoiler has fit my expectations with the three of us. To be honest with you, so it's usually how this goes, and we, it makes sense. So we'll talk more about it. So guys, that is our non-spoiler review. Basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the three of us agree that it is definitely a movie worth watching in theaters, that you will enjoy it But you know, as you will definitely have some different opinions on it for sure.
I highly recommend going to theaters, watching it, just because like full screen, full surround sound.
Absolutely.
Watching it in that form.
I would recommend going to the theaters to watch it now. Don't wait till later because you want a full audience in your theater. That's
to react.
I think
you.
it feeds off of it.
Yeah.
But it is still a good movie. I think that you guys would definitely laugh at and enjoy. So if that helps. Now, guys, we're getting into the nitty-gritty part. We're getting into the spoiler part of this section. So for all of you who have seen it, who feel, you know, who are would like to comment on it or would like to stay and hear our full review and participate, feel free to stay, obviously. If you have not yet seen the movie and you do not want spoilers, this is our warning to you that you will get spoiled hard. I'm telling you, like, hard. We're talking about the entire movie here. We're going to talk about everything that we liked, everything that we disliked, everything that happened in this movie. We're going to point out some crazy stuff that happened. I know one thing that Andrew's going to point out that he really liked, you know, so we're going to get into that. Yes. We're going to talk about this kind of stuff. And obviously we all liked it, but yeah, we're going to get into it. So again, like I said, last warning, we are getting into the spoiler part of this review. So please, if you do not want to get spoiled, leave, mute us, do something so that you do not listen to these spoilers here. All right, guys? Let's get into it. I'll start again. I'll give a quick synopsis of the movie because honestly, there really isn't much to talk about. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of story. So it basically, it confirms a few things. One, it confirms... Oh, Fruit Loop. Okay. Wow. You really got right into it. Fruit Loop just already started with the spoiler review. So I will review. I'll read that after I give my quick synopsis. So this is good. So basically what happens is it confirms a few things. One, it confirms that Deadpool was not a part of Earth 616. So that's kind of how they brought this whole thing into this. So what happened was Deadpool kind of lost like his calling. He didn't really want to be Deadpool anymore, so he kind of became a car salesman because he applied to become an Avenger in Earth 616, but they didn't want him. He is in Earth 10,005, just to give you guys that kind of thing. So what happened was, and this is what's interesting, is Earth 10,005's Wolverine died. So Logan... The Logan series took place in Earth 10,005. They confirmed that.
See, that confused me. I started thinking about it.
Yeah.
Timeline-wise, how does that work?
What do you mean? He's dead.
Because Logan felt like it took a little further into the future, but the Deadpool universe didn't really feel futuristic.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, the craziest thing is because they kind of did touch it because in Logan, there's no more mutants.
Yeah, but like...
In Logan, the mutants died.
Yeah, but we saw mutants in Deadpool's...
That's what I'm saying.
Movie.
That's why it's a little messy.
There was a low volume of mutant. That's the reason why they were making new mutants with Jax, I think. That's his name.
No, so in Deadpool, they were just awakening mutant genes, right? But then what happened was in Logan, the last movie, they practically made mutants extinct through corn syrup, right? And so like all the mutants died. Jean, Storm, every one of those mutants died. All that was left was practically Logan, Xavier, a few others, and then there was a new generation of mutants. But the problem that happened is that when Deadpool
wait. You said in Logan, like, how did the mutant die?
They died through corn syrup. High fructose
corn syrup?
Yes, high fructose corn syrup. I'm not even kidding. That's how they
killed
killed
them.
them. Yes. So what happened
I thought it was Xavier that killed everyone with his mind.
No. In Logan...
That's the reason why he couldn't kill Wolverine. That's the reason why Wolverine was the only one that lived, because he couldn't kill Wolverine.
No.
But then there was a talk that they had, like, because Charles kept having nightmares, and he's like, all right, well.
No. So let me see. How did mutants die in Logan? I'm dead serious. It's Logan. So
that's crazy.
So they were assumed to have died from an anti-mutagenic substance added to food and formula created by Dr. Xander Rice. So what happened was the plan originally, because I read into this, the plan was Dr. Xander, he was going to create something to put into the food that wouldn't kill the X-Men, but it would like get rid of their X gene, but instead it ended up killing mutants, which was not his goal, and it just created a mass extinction of like mutants, and that's kind of how that ended. And that's why Logan lost his healing power, is because he was eating the food and it basically numbed and dulled his powers, and that's how he could die. And so
okay, I got it mixed up. He had a seizure and he killed like I think 7 of the X-Men.
He had a seizure
and then
that killed some people.
Yeah, he had premonition because of his seizure. He's going to end up wiping the new mutants.
The new mutants, right?
From existence. Yeah.
So he had to take medication and stuff. But my point being is, this is where it gets a little weird, because in Logan, as you said, it was like a little bit futuristic. He's been dead for a couple years, clearly, since like Deadpool kind of obviously went to go dig him up. But now it's like there's mutants. We already know that there's mutants because Deadpool has dealt with mutants. He went to Xavier's house, meaning that Xavier is alive. There's a whole bunch of things that happened in Deadpool that don't add up to Logan. So
yeah, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up because Deadpool 2, we see Xavier, but it's a young James McAvoy Xavier. So that's
right. So my problem being is that doesn't personally add up to me. So that confused me, because he said that they weren't going to touch Logan, and that's perfectly fine. And the way that they honored that was that his Earth's Logan died, and that was in Logan. So the movie Logan was taking place in Earth 10,005. And so what happened was they explained it as every world has an important being, and then when that important being dies, I'm sorry?
An anchor being.
An anchor, thank you. So every world has an anchor being. When that anchor being dies, that world slowly starts to die as well. So the guy who was in charge of Earth 10,005 from the TVA decided to go all power hungry, and instead of making the world die slowly tens of thousands of years from now, he decided that he was going to destroy it now. And then just kind of get it over with. He believed in kind of just, ripping the Band-Aid off. So he hired Deadpool because the TVA believed that his Deadpool was important and they needed him to help save other worlds and whatnot. But then Deadpool found out that they were going to destroy his world. So he thought that by finding another Wolverine, that it would save his world. That's why he went to a bunch of different worlds. And we saw a few people who I won't name just yet. And he found this Wolverine to come back because that Wolverine's world was practically taken. So in his world, all the mutants, not all the mutants, but his loved ones died.
Yeah.
So he comes back, he turns out to be a failure, and then basically Deadpool and Wolverine are transported to the what's it called? The place that Loki went to. I just don't remember. I can't remember where it is, but it was that place where they teleport you where you're not wanted. And that's when they meet Xavier's sister, and they need to get themselves out of that to help and save Deadpool's world. And that was literally the plot. All right, there's really not much else to that story. Everything else was practically like Fox. The other thing that pissed me off is that most of the movie was all Fox jabs, and I was like, it's getting a little old. You know what I mean? I love that, and obviously the cameos were all Fox things. Everything was 20th Century Fox, which I loved. But it did get a little old. The jokes kind of were a little much to me, but I loved the cameos. But that was the premise of the movie. Now, Fruit Loop said, I loved the cameos. Blade, Human Torch, Elektra, Andrew's man crush, Henry Cavill, exactly. And obviously Blake Lively as Lady Deadpool. I gave it an 8 mainly because of the cameos. So fun fact, that wasn't Blake Lively in the suit. It was just the voice.
It's just the voice, yeah.
Just the voice, but it was It was her as the voice. Now, there's way more cameos. You're forgetting a huge cameo.
Yeah.
2 huge cameos. You're forgetting X-23, and you're forgetting the best cameo, in my opinion, which was Channing Tatum's Gambit, which I fucking loved.
I don't think those are considered cameos because they were part of the story, right?
Well, no.
No, I mean, they're
part of the
like,
story.
it's. I don't know about
was
cameos.
cameos.
It is
They're
a
a
cameo.
surprise
It is.
character. They're a surprise character.
So,
So
the cameo is Henry Cavill. That's a
So
cameo
there,
is Henry
there
Cavill,
were
that's it.
other cameos that people didn't know about until after the fact of like looking it up.
yeah,
But like for all the Deadpool characters that
Yes.
we see,
Matthew
because
McConaughey,
it was Matthew McConaughey, his
Nathan
daughters,
Fillion.
stuff like that.
his 2
Yeah,
daughters,
it's-
3 daughters. His 3 daughters were in it. I think every daughter that he had except for one was in it. The baby Deadpool was their newest daughter.
Yeah.
Kid Deadpool
Kid
was their
Deadpool.
daughter, and then there was like a screaming mutant that was also their other daughter.
Hmm.
And Blake Lively was Lady Deadpool. Nathan Fillion was the floating head, and Matthew McConaughey was the cowboy. And there's more
Yeah.
cameos too. So you know how he owns like a soccer team? One of the
Yeah.
soccer players was a Deadpool.
yeah.
And also Tom Holland's brother was a Deadpool. So
Was he?
Yes, he
What?
was. Tom Holland's younger brother was a Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds didn't even know that he was a cameo. Like he was one of the Deadpools until he took a picture of himself and posted it online. And Ryan was like, "Why am I just now finding this out?" He had no clue that he actually became like a Deadpool, and he didn't really have any parts. He was just a Deadpool. And
Yeah.
fun fact: Ryan's twin brother Gordon Reynolds was Nicepool. So that's
Oh,
a,
right. Yeah,
a
yeah,
funny
yeah.
thing that I
That's-
was going to talk about because he's
I didn't
fake.
know
He
that.
doesn't actually have a twin brother, but he
Yeah.
made an entire persona over the years of Gordon Reynolds, and it's worked. It is
Yeah.
hilarious. So that's pretty much, like I said, the entire premise of the movie. And Andrew's like all of ours love really is Henry Cavill being a
Oh, yeah.
Wolverine.
Gorgeous.
I wish he had a
Absolutely.
little bit more time, but
Yeah.
what he was in was just perfect. That was so fucking funny. I thought that was Hugh Jackman from the back, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. He's just gonna turn around. I was like, fucking Henry Cavill. Goddamn.
She caught me on guard.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
I was like, you're hitting me with that this early in the movie?
Yeah.
But I think that the intro was probably one of the best intros to a movie I have ever seen. The just like the dance sequence and him just like beating and like killing everyone to bye in sync. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was awesome. Really, really creative. I also thought that this was probably one of the most comic book accurate Wolverines that we've gotten. Dude, when they
yeah.
fought and he like ran like an animal, I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, oh shit. I
Yeah.
gotta watch that
Like,
sequence again.
He
'Cause that
never
was
did
sick.
anything like that in the OG movies.
No,
Yeah, like this is the Wolverine.
that was the
And then
Wolverine.
like it's
Sick.
crazy because like the entire movie, like all he kept like Deadpool kept asking was like, so like you want to explain the suit, and then for them to finally explain like how he came to wear the suit, and like the idea of it being that like in that Wolverine's original universe, they were all costumed heroes. So to imagine Cyclops and Storm and like all of them in their full-on like suits, I'm like, but yeah, obviously they're all dead. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, oh, that would have been beautiful. If they give us actual X-Men, like they have to do these comic accurate suits.
Thanks for the lurk, Ted. Good to see you, man. Yeah, no, I agree. So, and then we got Blade, of course. So this is an example of like a joke that like could easily go over your head that I feel like a lot of people were talking about. So they had a few cameos. So they had the original Blade. He was in it. You had Jennifer Gardner, original Elektra. She was in it. Can't talk because I haven't seen the film. I'm sad, but have a great night, y'all. Oh, Ted, when you do see it, let us know what you think because I would love to hear your opinion. Or if you're not, but mute me now. Like, mute me now. So they had Jennifer Gardner come back as Elektra. They had the original X-23 come back, and now she's all grown up. They had a lot of the original X-Men villains come out. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, so they had the original X-23. They had original of the cameos. They had Chris Evans come back. Bro, when he was covered up and it was his back and Deadpool was like talking, he's like, oh my God, it's him. As soon as you see the arm, it was the blue arm, I was like, it's fucking Torch. It's Human Torch.
Yeah.
Like, I
knew it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like, I knew.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't even think about it.
Dude,
Like,
I knew because, like, first of all, it was all like when he fell into there and they first got into that like island area. the giant statue was of 20th Century Fox, so every cameo that was going to be in there was all Fox movies, and the only Fox movie that Chris Evans was in was Fantastic Four, and he came in there. That was the funniest shit I've ever seen. Chris Evans was so like good in the role, but again, it's like, so Jennifer Garner came, right? They talked about how in her universe, their Daredevil died, and Ryan was like, "I'm so sorry," and she was like, "It's okay." You know what I mean? Like, so the reason as to why that was funny was because they were married when they made that movie, and then they got divorced. So that was like a small little jab at that joke. But like, there's other like jokes about how like, you know, Chris Evans was there, but like, oh, like, or like Henry Cavill being like a Wolverine. The other jokes, the ones that I loved were the ones from Channing Tatum's Gambit, because Gambit was like, he was like, feels like I was born here, and then everyone and like Deadpool was like, yeah, it kind of feels like you weren't really wanted. I don't really like, you know, and it's just, it's so funny to have those jokes, but people who don't really know the history of Channing Tatum and Gambit aren't going to really know that.
Yeah, like it's funny. You can ask my brother too. Like the moment I saw the card coming in, I was like Channing Tatum, and my brother like, what? And then he looked, and it was Channing Tatum. He's like, how the fuck did you know that? I'm like, I just fucking know it. So, it's been like
it's been
a pattern.
Long.
It's so funny because that was the spoiler I accidentally gave myself 10 minutes before walking in.
Oh,
really?
I was literally scrolling through social media, and then I saw a group photo. I saw a random group photo with Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Channing Tatum. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Gambit's in here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
So if I remember correctly, basically the reason as to why this is so crazy is because Channing Tatum has been trying for 10 years to become Gambit.
Yeah.
The way that his timeline worked, I actually read up on it or something, but what happened was he wanted to become Gambit. So he was supposed to be Gambit in the Wolverine 2 movie when Gambit was introduced, or the first one. He was supposed to be Gambit there, but he had a scheduling conflict because he was in the G.I. Joe movie, so he couldn't do it. And that's why they had another person play Gambit in that movie. Now, he wanted to become it, and then they were gonna, so they greenlit a Gambit movie. But then what had happened was at around that time that they were supposed to be filming, a lot of higher movies came out, and it wasn't gonna do well. So like Deadpool came out, the first Deadpool came out, all these other movies came out, so it just wouldn't make sense for them to do that. So then they were going to make it again, and then Logan came out, and then he couldn't do it because of G.I. Joe. And then pretty much he's been trying to get himself to become Gambit this entire time, but then Fox got bought out by Disney, and then it just wasn't in the cards. So finally he actually becomes Gambit, and I think they might bring him back. Because everyone... so there was an Instagram post that actually Ryan Reynolds posted 2 days ago, I want to say. And it was a bunch of pictures of him and Channing Tatum, and just Channing Tatum as Gambit. And he goes on this little rant and basically says, you guys, or he was basically like, Channing Tatum finally gets to play Gambit. I'm so proud. He like did such a good job. And he was like, and I'm not finished. He goes, I want more. And he's like, I know you guys want more too. So he is probably going to work on trying to get Channing Tatum to come back as Gambit, at least for another few things, which would actually be really cool. I think Channing Tatum killed it. I think he sounded just like the actor. It was hilarious how he did things. It was just so well done.
I get that that's like how like the character talks, I guess, in a way. He has like
a real Cajun accent.
That's how he does it in the animated.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they're. If they did make again, I don't think they're gonna go that route because they already made fun of it. It's like, who was your dialect coach?
Yeah.
It's like they're already. Yeah,
It was
I think- I
heavy
don't
on
think
the
they're gonna
things,
stick
man.
with
Those
that.
jokes were crazy.
If you look online, it's like the love for his Cajun accent is so hyped because they were like, "Oh, so spot on! Like this is so real! Like this is the real like what Gambit should sound like." And it's like we will need subtitles for it, or they will kind of tone it down like they would.
They're gonna tone it down. Yeah.
The animated.
They'd have
You know
to.
what I mean?
I don't think
Yeah.
he'd get his own solo movie. I think that would be too much,
Yeah.
but I think he'd probably come back in a Deadpool movie or something. So
People are already like using like with his line is like blowing up on in the streamer world. Like people are just, like using it as like a
yeah,
like a slang, I guess. In a
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Where it's like I'm gonna make a name for myself. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was so funny.
That's so good.
So so that was basically the premise of the movie. So here's the things that I don't like. I'm gonna say this right now. So obviously the movie was good. I love the jokes, but I think that the fourth wall breaking was a little much. I think they could have toned it down on the Fox insults, and I think that they could have toned it down a little bit on the fourth wall breaking. But other than that, I thought that the humor, everything was really, really fucking good. You know, I completely I don't agree much with what Andrew said with the soundtrack. I really liked the soundtrack personally. I think it would have been better if, because they just got bought out by Disney, I think it would have been hilarious if they threw in like a Disney like song. Like if he played like a whole new world from Aladdin with like Wolverine or something like that, and just kind of like did something like that. I think that would have been funny to kind of throw a little bit of like Disney things, but whatever, you know, it was still good in my opinion. What I didn't like was the story. Again, I think it was a little messy. I hated the main villain. The guy was annoying, right? And unfortunately, they overhyped this villain, Xavier's sister, who's named Cassandra. So they overhyped Cassandra, in my opinion. Cassandra is an incredibly overpowered villain. And they make this one fight scene between Cassandra and her team versus, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine and their team. They make it huge, like a huge deal, right? But they just fight her for a little while, and then they convince her to change her mind. And that's where I don't like where these movies happen, because there's a lot of movies that happen like this, where it's like The Power of Love, Thor: Love and Thunder, convinced Gore, Gore, the God Slayer.
No Jitsu, that's what they call it.
Yeah, yeah. World. And what's up, Jaguar? What's going on? But they convinced him to, like, you know, not kill anybody anymore. And he was just like, okay, think of your daughter. Same shit with here, where it's just like, you know what? Like, I think Xavier would have loved you. And now she's just like, okay, you know what? I'll bring you back in. But what pissed me off was they make this big ass deal to fight her, barely get like even a fraction of what she can do. And then she sends them back to Earth 10,005, right? But then finds out that, like, through Pyro, that the guy from the TVA has created something and wants to destroy that world. And then she gets pissed, decides to become a villain again, changes her mind, goes into Earth 10,005, and then decides, I'm going to destroy every world until that thing doesn't die. That doesn't add up to me. You can't change your mind, bring them back, decide to change your mind again, and then go do this whole entire thing. And that was just stupid and messy, and then she just easily got defeated. To me, it wasn't really that great. What also pissed me off, and I think this is what pissed me off the most, and I said it out loud in the theaters to my wife while the movie was still on. Throughout the entire movie, the whole point of Wolverine's character was that he was depressed and pissed, and he regretted and hated his life because he blames himself for his family dying, right? So he said, I ruined my whole life. I'm no superhero. Fuck this place. Then every single time Deadpool mentioned his family, that's when they got into a fight, right? That's when he would, like, stab him, you know, get pissed off, do all this kind of stuff. He would never like it when someone talked about his world. He hated it. Then Deadpool made this broken promise. It was really more of like, what did he call it? Educated wish. Yeah, an educated wish. So he called it that, right? And then Wolverine got pissed off at that again, right? So this whole thing. But then, you know, the only reason he helped Deadpool in the first place was because Deadpool made that educational wish and then basically said that he could probably get his world back. That's the whole reason, right? Then at the very fucking end, Deadpool goes to the woman in the TVA from the Loki show and goes, hey, you know, like there's a couple people in their world. Do you mind like digging them out for us? And then she was like, yeah, we could do that. And then he goes, also, Wolverine over here, like, you think you could just kind of give him his world back? And then she was like, that is in the past. And literally gives this dumb, stupid description, which was basically like, well, that was in the past, and the past made him into the man that he is today that helped you. So why would we do that? Then walks away, and the next thing to come out of their fucking mouth was, do you want shawarma? And then Wolverine said, yep, that's it. That's it. He was pissed off the whole
pissed me off,
movie.
dude.
That I looked
He just moved on.
He just moved on so
fucking
easily.
fast.
He was like, okay, yeah, my friends are dead. But like the whole movie, he get pissed off when you mention his dead friends. And now all of a sudden he finds out that he can't help his dead friends the way he wanted to. And he was just like, I'm hungry. Like I looked at my wife and I was like, that's it? That's bullshit. And I said that out loud. And by the way, it was awkward because when he said, do you want shawarma? It cuts into a quiet scene. So when I said that out loud, it was only me saying that in the theater. I'm like, that's fucking it. And that's like, I was so pissed. And there was no more mention of that. Deadpool basically was just like, what are you going to do now? And he's like, I'll figure it out. And then decides to go and live in Earth 10,005 with them. That's so fucking weird. Also, wait, just one little quick thing. The TVA hunts down people that aren't from other worlds. Wolverine and X-23 are not a part of Earth 10,005. So they would be an anomaly. And that was the whole point of the TVA, was to prevent anomalies from happening because the anomalies ruin other worlds. So how is this not creating an anomaly? That was what pissed me off, Andrew.
Yeah, they were way too lax at the end.
It was way too
detailed for that, but I felt that part was a little justified, a little bit, only because I love Logan the movie. So that made that version our favorite Wolverine, right? The Wolverine from the X-Men movies and stuff like that. What made him become whole again was X-23,
right?
And the Wolverine here, the sad Wolverine. He's pissed off. He has this glimmer of hope, and he was pissed off because he couldn't get any more because it's just an educational wish and stuff like that. There was a moment during that campfire where X-23 came and talked to him, and it's like you were never the right person, or something like that.
Yeah, I guess
that was enough for me because I'm like, okay, I think he's kind of like he's still Wolverine at heart. He's still Logan at heart. You know what I mean? And now he has this little girl right here who was somewhat of a daughter to a Logan in another world. Maybe it is possible for him to, when that Logan over there that died, he didn't really have anyone, and he didn't have anyone in his world. And this person with the hope for that Logan, maybe at some point he's gonna find his hope too. Maybe not in the old friends that he lost, but maybe in someone new, just like X-23.
I don't know.
So that was like, okay, he already gave up on his world right there at that point already. So when Deadpool asked, like, can you bring some people back? And she was like, yeah, but this made him to who he is now. And he kind of accepted who he has become, like after the last fight with Nova. And with X-23 and all that.
It's because
I felt
like
that was fine.
because it wasn't fully like transitioned.
Fleshed out. Yeah. I get you on that.
That's why I brought pissed, and then he was like, it went from here to here. Like it was completely different. Like if he kind of accepted it throughout the movie a little bit more, I think I would have been a little bit better. But the fact that he was like, oh, there's some hope here, and then she was like, no, and then you're like, want some shawarma? That's what got me. Like I'm okay with him accepting his life and doing that, but it was just way too fast. It wasn't.
The transition happened before that, though. The transition happened when he opted to be the guy to shut down the power thing. That's when the transition happened. Yeah, you should have been pissed off at that moment. It's like, bro, this whole entire movie, then you're trying to like kill yourself just to save this world.
That was more of him, like because he accepts his death. Nothing go back to like that was supposed to be his finale.
Yeah.
But then, like, when they kind of touched back on the whole save his universe, and they were like, no can do, like, the reaction to that, I mean, there could have been a better reaction than shawarma, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that would have, like, gave it a little bit more. Because you're right, they were showing him gradually understand and accept, right? But for them to show the gradual acceptance, into just complete leap
Because
to acceptance.
they wasted like
That's
a good
much.
part of the movie with bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But my other
I
thing
mean,
is
yeah.
too, my other thing
This
is
is why
too,
it's an okay movie.
when you mentioned
It's a great movie.
when you mentioned him going off and sacrificing his life, why would I be pissed off of that? Or like, why am I not pissed off at that? I actually accepted that more, because then I was like, okay, like, because hear me out. Like, first of all, this is a one-off movie, or everyone thought that it was supposed to be a one-off movie. Ryan Reynolds convinced Hugh Jackman to come back as Wolverine, and I don't think that Ryan Reynolds would really want to be Wolverine for much longer, even though there was the joke about Disney trying to milk him until he's 90. The thing is, it's like, I think Hugh Jackman came back specifically because Ryan Reynolds, and this was a good movie with Wolverine and Deadpool. I don't think he's going to do it for much longer. So when he sacrificed his life, I was like, oh, this is good. This is great. This is it. Because then he dies, and then that just kind of like reboots Wolverine again into whoever the next Wolverine is going to be. And then that kind of gives off another good sending to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, where it's like, this was really always supposed to be a one-off movie for him. And now the question is, since he's alive and he's with Deadpool, is he going to come back? Like, we don't know if he's going to come back again as Wolverine.
That's why that's why I feel like this Deadpool movies are its own separate universe. Like, it's now in the MCU, which means they can interact with it, but they won't entirely. You know, it's like he's not gonna, because they gave us they showed us 616.
Right.
You know, they showed the main universe, but they showed that he stayed in his 10,005 universe, which means a good chance he's gonna keep hopping around.
So there's a good chance of a lot of things. So the thing is, Secret Wars gives a huge opportunity, because I don't think Deadpool is really going to be a part of the MCU until Secret Wars again. Like, I just don't really see where Deadpool's going to be. Like, he's in 10,005, but like 10,005 is probably the mutant world. So like wherever the black chick from the Marvels is, that might be Earth 10,005. I don't know, but we don't know what Deadpool is gonna do anymore but Secret Wars. But there was a confirmation, or not a confirmation, but there's a huge rumor going around saying that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and shit, why can't I remember his name right now?
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. The two of them are actually going to be the main faces of Secret War. And so, like, I imagine that with Doomsday and Secret War, they're going to come back, and that's the whole point of Secret Wars, is that all these worlds are fighting each other to protect their own world. So I think like we got a little bit of that with the TVA and Deadpool in this one, but I think we're going to see more of that, where a lot of characters are going to come back and try and protect their own worlds, including 10,005, and that's where we'll probably see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine again. But I could have easily seen him die. Like, if he died, I would have been like, all right, this is kind of cool. Like, all right, like, he's dead. Like, it makes sense. You know, he was only supposed to be in this movie, but I don't know. There was just some real, like, weird parts to the movie where I just felt like it was just off. Like, I like, it didn't make sense to me. But again, like I said, still funny, still really good. Just like the story, it like, and also what pissed me off too, I really wish that they did more with the Deadpool corpse. Like, they only had the Deadpool corpse out for like not even 10 minutes, and I thought that they were going to be a little bit more in the movie.
I get it, but I didn't get it. I get it, but I didn't get it. Why were they fighting for Cassandra Nova again?
Because they're crazy.
Because they're fucking mercenary groups.
They're just mercenary crazy groups. So like Nicepool explained it, if I remember correctly, Nicepool explained it in a way where he was basically just like, they're crazy, and they basically just do whatever the hell they want, but they listen to Cassandra.
My God, that was, to me, I don't know. Like, I was like not fucking with that scene. I'm like, I get it, like why they did it, but it's like I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just didn't like it.
It
was just for the sake of comedy.
It was more of like an excuse just to give us all these Deadpools.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Because like once they shut down that whole time ripper thing, whatever it is, they were gone. So I don't know, like they were just gone. They were just completely gone.
Yeah.
Peter brought them somewhere, I guess. But like, I'm like, what the fuck? All right, there goes that.
So
I feel like I'm a hater of this movie when I'm not. My score's not that low.
No, I get it.
Fucking Rolly rated it at 4, motherfucker.
Did he really? Oh shit!
Yeah, and it's all because of the same point that you're making. Story.
Isn't Deadpool like his favorite character?
Yeah,
I don't know, but
no, it is. I think it is.
Mr. Anti-Idiotic, welcome from YouTube, said, I really, really want Kitty Pryde to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man's new girlfriend in the MCU. That is someone I didn't think of.
I have a thing in one of the comics.
Yeah.
We gotta see how much the Spider-Man is gonna interact with, with the X-Men stuff. But also because like we also get like Spider-Man like replacing Johnny Storm for a while in like Fantastic Four. I don't know if we'll ever get through all of these stories.
Yeah.
But like I hope they choose like good ones to go.
I don't know if I remember correctly, but I think this wasn't considered a Deadpool 3 movie though. This was just considered like a Deadpool.
Considered its own thing. It was a solo one-off.
So
and
we're gonna get a Deadpool 3 movie, but
maybe
this no, that's what they said. I think Deadpool 3 is coming out. It's just don't consider this as a Deadpool 3 movie because we're gonna keep that for something else.
Right, it was his own thing.
Yeah, like it was supposed to be Man of Steel 2, Batman vs Superman.
Yeah,
right.
that's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly,
whatever. But so, anyways, guys, I think honestly that's the craziest thing is we've talked about pretty much all that we needed to talk about this movie.
Yeah, there wasn't much.
There really wasn't much.
It's just all amazing cameos. Basic story, and like just a lot of plot holes.
A lot of plot holes.
Yeah, def.
And again, a waste of a really overpowered character. Like Cassandra is so much more, and I just wish that they were like. I got excited for the trailer because I was like, hell yeah! Like, how are they gonna deal with this chick? Like, and then
that's the thing though, because it's like too overpowered. Like they aren't equipped to fight, so it's like they have to like figure out a way to get rid of her.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like they chose too OP of a character. That's really what it was.
It was.
Like
I don't think we're ever gonna. I think it's because like I don't think they have plans to use her for anything else in general.
No,
so
they're not going to use her.
I
think that they could have done more.
Yeah, I will say though, I think she did a great job, and on top of that, like it showcased how powerful and dangerous she is because even the audience in the theater I went to go see, whenever she does that hand thing in the face, there were people in the crowd that was like, oh, yeah. There were people like audibly making noises from that. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, they did a good job making this person scary.
Yeah, she's insane. She's really, really crazy in the comics, and I'm just like, man, you could have done so much more with her character.
It's crazy to think about because they were saying how like she was sent there as a baby, so she grew up in that. So her craziness is like development years to like this is all she knows kind of shit.
Yep.
And like, but like she's so OP that she could literally leave whenever she wants, just chooses not to. She could like wreak havoc in any of the worlds. And it's like, it would have been a great character to like give their own movie with X-Men and stuff like that to show. But I don't think they'll ever do that route.
No.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Okay, especially when we see how like she got defeated too, which is like by a helmet, Juggernaut's helmet. And it's like, probably not the best villain. So.
Well, it makes sense, but like
it does.
It is stupid.
But I think that's why they didn't. Yeah.
That whole thing was just wild. So I don't know. I liked the movie. I think the cameos were the best part for me.
Do you guys believe that, like, so in the beginning of the movie, they were showing scenes from the Avengers and stuff like that. It shows Thor crying over Deadpool.
That shit, every time that came on screen, made me laugh so hard.
Yes,
I'm like, I love this. Is classic. This is like vintage Ryan Reynolds comedy right here.
Yeah.
Like him bringing back like things from.
I forgot
beginning
about
of
that
the
part
movie.
until you mentioned.
Yeah.
You know
So it's like, do we think like now that he's in the MCU that'll actually happen, or
I
is it
think
random?
It will happen. I think it really will happen. They wouldn't put that in there for no reason. I honestly think that he is going to be in. Like, there's gonna be a scene, whether it's quick or something. It's gonna be addressed. And the thing is, Ryan tweeted, and he put it on Instagram too. He said, I know why Thor was crying, and it's crazy or something like that. And so he's like, I know. So he knows he's going to make it.
Man.
He's going to make it, man. They already filmed that. Did you guys know Peter and Kitty in the Ultimate Universe? Yes. So, but yeah, man, I would love to see it really actually happen. And it might happen in like 4 or 5, like with the Hercules thing, or it might not. Who knows when it's going to happen, but I think it would be fucking hilarious to just finally see that like years later. And he's just like, this is what happens. But that was funny. So yeah, that was really it, guys. The only thing now is like, I'm wondering is like, what is going to happen to Deadpool? Because this is the first Deadpool movie since Disney bought Fox. There's no way that Disney is just going to call it a one and done. Like, obviously, Ryan Reynolds is here to stay, and I think that
Yeah,
he's
you
gonna,
know he's a moneymaker. You
oh,
know what
yeah.
I mean? Like,
And he's,
this movie alone shows that.
if Disney was smart, they would sprinkle him in the new Marvel movies like they do in the comics, like where he's just kind of there, like almost like a Stan Lee cameo. Like, I feel like Deadpool kind of just like dropping into some of these movies would be hilarious, but also it would make sense because he is just
See, the
always
tough
doing
part of
things.
that, because the tough part is that is like, because that's sort of his role in these comics as well. Like, but to have him pop in an actual cinematic MCU movie, like, it stands out too much. Where like it takes away from what the movie will end up being about. And it was like, why the hell? Like as a comic fan, you'll be like, oh shit, that's great. Like he
Yeah.
just popped up out of nowhere for like 10 minutes and then disappeared and just never showed up again. Like very classic Deadpool. But it's like for these serious movies, it's kind of hard to imagine because it's easy to do in like small issues of a comic. You know what I mean? Where he'll pop up randomly. But in a real movie, like I don't know. Like I don't know how they'll be able to do it. I'm thinking they're just gonna like any few like he won't pop up in like any of the minor movies until like it's either like a really big movie or something. But he's gonna have his own multiple movies where he's just gonna be having like the duos like he did with Wolverine. Like it's just gonna be multiples of those.
Yeah.
I feel like they can manage to throw him in there. If they can throw Fat Thor in Endgame, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
they can
I
throw
think
in
that they
Deadpool.
can, but I can also see both. I can see like them just doing another solo Deadpool movie, and then when like Secret Wars comes out, he's kind of like in it, but and it'll like lead into Secret Wars and why he's a part of it. But I can also see him kind of being sprinkled into Deadpool, like Disney, because everyone's gonna wonder like when the next Deadpool thing is gonna happen. Like, where's Deadpool?
It's probably gonna be like what you said because it's like, oh, what all this situation happened in Deadpool or Deadpool and Wolverine. It's like, aren't they considered like an anomaly? Isn't that gonna fuck up something, right? It's probably gonna like be
You
mentioned.
Think?
Yeah, like you know how you remember the Spider-Man animated movie one, the latest one that we watched,
Yeah.
where like at some point like Spider-Man 20 something where he mentioned one of the Peter Parker from this universe, which was like the the one with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. It's like that Spider-Man ruined something, and now this is affecting this world here.
Right.
They kind of like touched it on that. They probably do the same thing where it's like, well, a character in the red suit did this thing, and it's gonna affect us here.
Maybe.
Like that. They're
Yeah,
probably
it
gonna do
could,
something
it
like
could
that.
definitely be something like it's all a trickle effect, but I have no idea how they're going to turn into this kind of stuff. Cause
Yeah.
it's really weird. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm excited. I hope that they do a lot more with Deadpool because obviously Deadpool is just fantastic. Can you imagine the interaction Torrin Egerton's Wolverine and Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Well, that's even if Torrin Egerton is Wolverine. So
Torn Egerton. Is he the guy from Kingsman?
Yeah.
yeah, he's the guy from Kingsman. He's not like, he has not been confirmed to be Wolverine, but I don't know who's going to be. We don't even know who the next Wolverine is going to be. Like that's years from now, right now. But yeah, it'd be interesting. So let's get down to the story and the plot, guys. Let's start getting our ratings down. So as far as the story and the plot go, again, like we said, we rated out of 5. So I'm going to say, honestly, 2. I don't think that there was much story or plot. Like I feel like the plot that was there was just a little messy. I'm going to give this a 2 in my opinion out of 5.
I give it. Yeah, I'll probably give it a 2.5. And the only reason why I'm giving it like that extra 5 point is because there is like a subplot that to me became like a main plot that I appreciate that they did. Because the plot that they pushed onto the screen for us was, oh, there's a time rift or whatever it is, and you have to save your universe from being erased, so you have to stop this bomb, which is like the old classic bomb stopping comic book thing. But the subplot that I found was Deadpool trying to find his purpose.
Okay.
And throughout all the adventure that we see in this movie, he ended up finding his purpose at the end of the movie. I think that's like the part that I really appreciate. So I'll give it that 0.5.
Solid.
Yeah.
Shane, what do you think?
I put it right in the middle. 3.
3.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. Just right in the middle.
Okay. So with that averages out to 2.5. So We have a 2.5 out of 5 for story or plot. We characters. So I'm gonna say right off the bat, I would give it a 5, but I didn't like the TVA character. I thought he was annoying. I thought that there really wasn't much of a point for him, and I just hated how Cassandra's character was not as I expected. So I'm giving it a 4.5. But I think that everyone else's character was incredible. I think obviously Henry Cavill, Channing Tatum coming back, Jennifer Gardner, Wesley Snipes, the chick for
All the
X-23,
cameos,
all the cameos. Everyone was just so good. Obviously Hugh Jackman. They all did incredible. So I'm giving it a 4.5, but I do have to give it like just a half a point off because I didn't appreciate the villains. I didn't really get them. So
I agree. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. The characters that we care about, they fucking blew it out the the water. The characters that we didn't really care about, it was like, we didn't really care for them. I like Paradox. That's his name, right? I think in the movie.
Yeah, Paradox.
He was funny as fuck. Like I laughed so hard every time he comes on screen because the back and forth between him and Deadpool was just hilarious to me. The only thing, like I didn't really, like I said, the characters that I didn't really care for is the extra characters that have way too much screen time. Nice Pool, it's funny, but I'm like, there's no need for that.
yeah.
I get it, but there's no need for that. There's no need for that whole Deadpool scene. Like, man, I'm a god of purpose.
I think it was funny where he was basically just like, I can do fourth wall breaking too. The proposal, and I was like, oh my god.
You think that's what I do, bitch?
Yeah.
That's so good.
Like, you don't have regenerative ability. He's like, no. It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
You have regenerative abilities, yeah. Dude, also that part where like everyone was shooting, and then Wolverine just like walks away with the dog, and no one shoots at him.
Yeah.
The dog.
It was like,
there was a theory for that. Is the reason why Nice Pool doesn't have regenerative ability is because his ability for regeneration or surviving is dog pool. If he had dog pool, he can't get killed. That's a theory that they have. Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Hold on, like real quick. I don't care for Peter. That every time he's on screen, it pisses me off. So
yeah,
Peter was funny in the second movie. They're stretching his character out.
Yeah.
Like I just thought that he was great where he was in the second movie. I thought it was funny how he had him in his birthday. But like other than that, I mean, like his character was really stretched. But he's still like a funny character. I just was like apparently Peter in every universe, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a 5, guys. Come on now.
Okay.
I can't believe you even tried lowering it. You're saying you're lowering it because these minor characters. They're minor characters.
Doesn't matter. They're still
characters.
Well, but they just, like I said, these minor characters had screen time that
all of the Wolverine cameos alone gives it a 5. They gave us a comic accurate short Wolverine, Henry Cavill Wolverine, Apocalypse Wolverine, the fucking Wolverine on like the comic issue on the cross, the X-Men cross is phenomenal. Like those were touches from the comics,
right?
Which were fucking great. You know, what I mean?
Listen, but like that will go into my score and the overall score.
Yeah.
That's not going to go.
Yeah, that's not going to go into the characters. You know what pissed me
Cameo,
off? I'm going to say this real quick. You know what pissed me off? You know how all these fucking people were just hating on Hugh Jackman not being comic accurate, and like they were like, "Oh, he's too tall," like blah blah blah. It's not comic accurate. Bullshit. Like you know how like we were hearing right bullshit about this, right? They finally gave him a comic book accurate just as a joke because they were kind of like addressing the whole thing. You know, these fuckers measured him and were like, he's still not comic book accurate. He's too short. Fucking, like, you can't be happy, bro. Because they were like, I swear to God, I read the comics on these things. And they were like, there was one person who commented, or like made a post on Twitter. And he was basically just like, they finally got, you know, like everyone can shut up now because you finally got your comic book accurate, like Wolverine. But then everyone was like, the average height of a bar table is actually like 4 feet, like 4 feet 5 inches or something like that. And he was much shorter than the bar table, which means that he was probably about like 4 feet something. So he's still too short. It's not comic book accurate. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's CGI. It's like, this makes zero sense to me. Shut up, dude. Like it's all those people who can't just fucking like something. Like they need something to complain about. Like who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. It's Wolverine, dude. Like fuck off. Like that really pissed me off. Anyways, so yeah, so that averages out. I agree with Andrew. I'm gonna give that a rating in my overall. I'm not gonna rate it here. There were characters that really just weren't like great, and that's why I gave it a 4.5. But because of your fucking 5, we have to give it a 4.66. So
I'm the most realistic. All right,
I don't think so.
For characters, you guys are just nitpicking.
Well, all they did was make me laugh, Shane. All they did was just make me laugh.
Oh man. Anyways, the action sequences. What are we gonna rate the action? I'm giving the action a 5. I loved the action personally. I think that it was the most comic book accurate Wolverine as far as fighting style, as like that animal. First of all, just a full 0.5 points just for seeing Hugh Jackman run like that. I like almost got off of my seat. You know how like Deadpool was like, I'm so hard right now? I was. I don't know that, like, to me, I was never expecting that. I was like, oh, he's just going to run at him or something because it's to cover the distance. Like, he can't die. He ran like that. I was like, oh, like, I loved it. I fucking loved it. That was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. It was just so fucking good. And just all the action.
That just reminds me what my favorite part of the whole movie was, which was the most randomest part, was when he was getting his suit. Getting his ass slapped,
and he's like, that guy's a perv. Like he's really like.
I was like, just want you to know, like, your tail is a predator.
Yeah.
But I like it or some shit.
Yeah, he's
phenomenal scene. It was so good.
Oh yeah, I just remember I'm like trying to figure out like, oh, when he got his new suit, when Deadpool got his new suit. Yeah.
It was so random. But like that was like peak humor for me. It was so good.
It was like, again, the humor was great, but like I said, I just but the action was just really, really good. So personally, I like the action.
Yeah, I'll give it like a 4 point. Like
just especially seeing Gambit getting into action.
Yes,
giving us a taste of what Gambit's fighting like.
He did his own scenes.
Yeah. There was like clips all over, like all over like the internet.
Put him training
like,
for it.
Put him training. Yeah, I'll give it like a 4.7. Obviously, like I agree with you guys. The actions are great. The beginning action scene was fucking awesome, bro. That thing made my heart rate go so fast because I was in the IMAX theater. So that thing was just dum, 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 dum. Like every fucking smack that Deadpool did. That shit was awesome. The fight with him and obviously Logan, with that scene that the Fox thing in the background, that was awesome. But also the car fight, I thought that shit was amazing and beautiful.
Yep.
Again, the part that I didn't fucking like was when all the people, Elektra, Blade, when Blade walk in, the way the beat changed.
Oh yeah,
that shit was awesome. That shit was awesome. But when they started fighting Cassandra Nova's fucking people there, the way he directed that scene, it was so shaky and it was like cutting in and out. Like it made me nuts for a bit, and I'm like, I can't focus right now. It's just way too shaky. It's weird.
Yeah,
you know.
I get that.
Yeah,
I gotta take it down a little.
That part bothered me. There was no real focus that could like see, because I was like, they were doing those fight scenes, I was trying to zero in on the characters, and I was like, okay, like who's fighting in this scene? Okay, I see Elektra. Right,
exactly.
I get that.
I'm like, bro, like this is hurting my eyes. Like the effort they did for the fight scene with the Deadpool army, I'm like, I wish they did that with Gambit and stuff like that. Like that one screen where they just stab and fighting. That would have been dope with like Blade, Gambit, and Elektra, like for that one scene. But so I'll knock it down by like, that 3. So this 4.7 for me. Okay,
Shane, what'd you rate it?
5.
5. Okay. So that's divided by 3. So that's 4.9 actually. So we got a 4.9 out here out of 5. That's like
well deserved.
Yeah. CGI. What'd you guys think? I know Shane's answer, but let's. Well, I don't know Shane. I think Shane's just gonna rate it a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can't spot it, it's a 5.
It's a 5. I think that there was a couple of very weird, like I obviously there, like the CGI wasn't perfect. I think the CGI was great. There was one that really kind of got me though. It was the scene where Cassandra put her fingers through the TVA guy and then dragged him down the stairs to the thing. That to me was messy. It like looked fake to me, and I was like, okay, that's a little weird. And again, like I think that just some of the overall, like, it was shaky, like you said, and it kind of was just, it was trying to get that CGI down. So I didn't think it was perfect. I thought it was really good. I think I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Holy shit.
You're
higher than that. Yeah.
I'm just giving it a 4.
I do agree. I'm pegging it down to because of literally those scenes you mentioned, like and also the freaking cloud monster that come and eat people.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what name. Yeah, that was
Yes.
that reminded me, Loki. When I saw that thing, it reminded me of Parallax from Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, that looks just
that's a
like
good
it.
comparison.
Yeah.
That looks just like it. The CGI also, and I'm like,
They
that's
have a face of Parallax.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give it like a full point. Yeah, you know what? I'll do a 4.5 too. Fuck it.
Oh, you gonna?
It's weird to give. It's
gonna
weird to
say
give it
that
like
now?
the 6-7. It's
So it's a 4.66 again. Let me see here. 1 second. Who did Mr. Antidiotic said, "Oh man, can you imagine Rowan Blanchard's Kitty Pryde making Torrin and Tom stop fighting?" No, I can't imagine any of this because it's not confirmed. So I don't really like. Who the hell is Rowan Ranchin?
No idea.
Oh, Blanchard. I mean, sorry.
who is that?
Where is she
Who?
even from? Oh, Girl Meets World. It's the Girl Meets World actress.
As
The
who? As Katie?
daughter
Like
of the Boy Meets World guy?
So they're saying that this girl is Kitty, and that Torrin is Wolverine and Tom is fighting Wolverine, and that she jumps in to stop them. These are some left field actors and actresses that you're throwing in.
Yeah, I was like, were any of these rumored or anything?
No, there's no rumors about it. I think they're just fan casting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is fan casting. Yeah.
All right, so back at it. We only have a couple more. Soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was perfect. Personally, to me,
Beautiful.
I thought
Yeah.
the soundtrack was great. I just love all that kind of stuff. The intro was amazing. I loved just like they did I wish that they had Hugh Jackman's like The Greatest Showman a little bit more. It was so fast. It was so fast. It was just like when he hit the head on the radio, and I'm like, oh man, I really wish that I would have loved if that was like the fight song. I think that would have been hilarious. But or at least like a little bit of it, and then changing the channel. But they actually had like that one song. It was the song where I don't remember the song's name, but the one where they were saving the world. They linked up and they the Hugh Jackman's shirt ripped off. That song, they actually made a chorus version of that. So like it wasn't the real version, it was like an actual chorus. I liked that a lot. And I also think it's funny, after the movie came out, NSYNC changed the name of their song from Bye 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 to Bye Bye Bye, the Deadpool and Wolverine song. So like if you go on Spotify, if you look up NSYNC, Bye 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 is on it, and it says the Deadpool and Wolverine song. And like on YouTube now, it's on that. They just changed the name. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I was seeing some interviews with the band from in NSYNC, and they were saying like, yeah, they knew they got approved to have that song in it. They just didn't know how it was going to be used. They thought it was going to be like later in the movie, and it was going to be some random thing. But for the entire intro to be that with the dance, they were completely blown away and loved it.
It was awesome. Like, and it was from the second movie, because Celine Dion, so that was like years in the making, because Celine Dion did her thing, and then Deadpool was like, cut, like you brought it to an 11, and Celine Dion was like, I only do 11. And then Deadpool was like, I should have hired NSYNC. And now he brought NSYNC into this. So that's actually really funny.
Yeah,
it's also pretty like cool, because I think in one of the X-Men movie, the X-Men characters, including Wolverine, they were driving, and then they were like, turn on the radio, we need to hear some music. Bye 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 was playing, and Wolverine's like, don't play that song. We're like, he shut off the radio station.
Oh, I didn't even know
cool
that.
They put it in this Deadpool. Yeah, it's
that's funny. Cool. That's actually really funny.
They didn't get listened for it yet.
And he's dancing on his grave with that song, which is funny.
Yep. So I gave it a 5. I don't know what you guys would rate it. 5.
Yeah, 5.
That I like every song individually. I freaking enjoyed, but as a whole, it became overbearing for me. So I'll give it like a 4.5.
Yeah, especially the scene, the song right before they fight the Deadpool Corps is that walk-in scene.
Yeah.
Right before he puts on the mask.
Misery, yeah.
It was a slow motion, beautiful moment. I was like, bro, like this song. It's like you hear the song, you don't imagine it to be like a live-action fight scene song. No. But like Deadpool does these things and it perfectly fits.
Yep.
I didn't like that.
I have that
No?
Avril Lavigne song stuck in my head now.
You know,
too.
you know what it remind me of? It remind me of, so like, I don't know if you guys remember the movie on Ted 2, the teddy bear,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
by Great a Family Guy. You remember when they saw their idol, the Flash Gordon or something like that? I can't remember. his
Yeah.
name.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then they went to the party, and then the moment they saw him, everything was in slow motion. They're like, Flash Gordon,
Yeah.
and it was like that soundtrack, whatever. That's what it reminded me of, and I'm like, I can't get that out of my head. It's just fucking weird. Like, yeah, it's weird. I don't
That's
know.
nowhere close to that. What the fuck?
It is, bro. Just watch it. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. It was a slow motion scene, hair flowing, everything, bro.
Well, yeah, the scene of that slow motion, yeah, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like the build up, the climax,
I
the
get
fucking sequences,
Yeah.
like it was just great.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't rate it low, man. It's 4.5. That's pretty high.
I know.
You give it 4.5. So we got 4.883 as average. So now for the moment that we've all been waiting for, the moment that we are going to rate the overall score and average it out. Guys, if you're still watching this and you have still seen this movie, what would you give this movie as a out of 10? Out of 10, I know Fruit Loop said that they gave it an 8 because of the cameos. So out of 10, what would you guys rate this movie? If you guys want to participate in this, feel free to. I'll start giving my opinion. So at first I rated it a 9, but that was my high. So like I usually end up rating movies really high, like a lot higher, like right when I get out of the theater, and then or like lower, and then I kind of think about it a little bit more, and I appreciate or I depreciate some of the things that were happening.
Yeah.
So originally when I walked out of that theater, I was like, this is a 9. Like I'm like, this is such a good movie. But then I really thought about it. And I was like, there are some things that I just didn't like. And then I was reading up on it and I was thinking back into it. And then I had a conversation with my wife and I was like, you know what? Yeah, this didn't really make any sense. So it went down. I'm still kind of stuck. I'm torn. I'm torn on whether or not I want to rate it like an 8 or an 8.5. And I think that I kind of want to lean. I really want to lean more towards like an 8.5 because I'm asking myself, what did I not enjoy about this movie, or what did I kind of have concerns or problems about this movie, and is it enough to bring it down an extra point, like half a point? But then there's the things that I really loved, and I'm like, is the things that I really loved worth keeping that half a point? And I think what I'm going to say is I think that half a point is worth it. Now, the only things that I didn't like about this movie was that the beginning, obviously, like having Wolverine dead doesn't make sense in their world. Like it still does. Like they said they didn't touch it, that they wouldn't touch it, but it still doesn't make sense because his world is still that world. Mutants shouldn't really be existing in that world, so it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like what they did with Cassandra's character. I think they could have done a lot more. I think that the actress was phenomenal. I think she did a great job. I just wish that they did more with her character. I didn't care for the TVA character guy at all. I wish they did more stuff with the Deadpool Corp. And I think that the way that they ended it with Wolverine's character, as I discussed before, really kind of like set me off a little bit. I think that if they stretched it out a little bit more and they showed a little bit more of Wolverine kind of accepting it and then just like not really just shawarmaing it, like I think that would have been better. I loved Chris Evans' character, but here's the thing. This is what I loved. Loved Chris Evans' character. Loved Channing Tatum as Gambit. I loved all the original people coming back to do all these cameos. I loved the comedy. I loved the action. And I loved Hugh Jackman. I think Hugh Jackman was phenomenal in this movie. He was definitely the best part of this whole thing. Henry Cavill being a cameo was awesome. So I think I'm gonna stick with an 8.5 rating. And I think that that's where I'm gonna put myself is 8.5. I can't really picture myself putting myself like I was thinking like maybe I do like an 8.7. Doesn't make any sense. I think I'm just gonna put it as an 8.5. That's right there. I think that's like a pretty solid rating for me.
I'm gonna say this wasn't a movie to me. It didn't feel like a movie to me. It felt like a special. It just felt like a special. I don't know if you guys remember watching, or did you guys even watch the Guardian of the Galaxy Christmas special?
I never watched it. It was
this is what it reminded me of. Like it reminded me of that. Okay, and then the way it was directed by Sean Levy or Levi, I can't remember his last name, but his movie Free Guy, I think it's called Free Guy. Mm-hmm. This is Free Guy, but just with Deadpool.
I get that.
Same shit, yeah. All these cameo, you got Captain America's shield and all that stuff, and Chris Evans in the movie. These cameo, this is just a cameo fuckfest, basically.
Channing Tatum was in that movie too.
Oh yeah,
It's Free Guy, just
Yeah.
Deadpool. That's all it is.
That is
That's
fun.
all it is. Obviously, it took me originally. My original score for this thing was a 7.5. But when I took my headspace out of that, where it's like this is a Deadpool, like what Shane was talking about, like this is comic book accurate Deadpool, and then seeing this as more like a love letter to Hugh Jackman and his character Wolverine, him playing Wolverine again, and the yearning from the fans and also from Ryan Reynolds to get to be on the screen with him and Hugh Jackman. This is that love letter, and seeing it from that perspective, that's when and also with the cameo and paying homage to all these characters that didn't get far in other movies and stuff like that. When I saw it that way, that put it to an 8 for me. It gave it that 0.5.
Okay.
And I have to see it like not as a movie, but more as a love letter, as a parody, as a special, and all that. But all that other than a movie. So that's the only reason why I rate it the way I rate it.
Fair. So
Yeah.
an 8.5 so far, and an 8, and now for
Shane's gonna give it a
Shades, which
fucking
I'm
10.
thinking,
My
like,
God.
yeah, no, he's not gonna give it a 10, but I feel like he's gonna give it at least a 9.
no. I said it when I got out of the theater. Watched it twice, like days later, like still a 9. It's such a fun, enjoyable movie, right? It's like just the point. If you're going to a movie to expect something and it meets expectation, goes above beyond expectation, like you should rate it what it is. You know what I mean? That's how I felt about it. So like even watching it a second time, I was completely engulfed. Like even though I had just watched it 2 days prior.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's a good movie. There's obviously like little small moments where like I was like, that bothers me. Storyline was basic, a lot of plot holes, like, you know what I mean? But like any other movie, I would judge it more harshly because of how stupid a Deadpool movie is and how it never makes sense. Is why I say you can never assume or guess what the plot line or like the storyline's gonna have, because like he's so like full of random shit, you know what I mean? Like that you like it's just what you should expect. I was hoping for the best. I got the best. I liked it. It would have been like, I mean, if I went higher than a 9, it would have been because they did a great story. There wasn't plot holes. But regardless, everything else was great.
You can't say like, all right, what you said, and then be upset because the transition from Wolverine from caring to not caring was like nothing. I'm like,
Listen, those are those minor things.
Yeah, but it's Deadpool when
like,
you get drama, but that's a typical Deadpool thing though. You should be like, okay, typical Deadpool. Like that's
typical Deadpool. Our reaction was to Wolverine agreeing to it so easily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like that wasn't enough for me to knock it down. You know what I mean? Like I stand by like I said, there are things that bothered me too. But like it doesn't make it less of a great movie.
Yeah.
It just makes it like, oh, that's dumb. That would have been nice to do this instead. But like, you know what I mean? Like I would still watch it fucking 20 times, you know what I mean? Like it's a great movie.
I legit thought you were gonna give it like a fucking 10.
No.
I don't think
I
thought James was gonna give it 10. I thought Adam's gonna give it like a 9.5. No. Then I'm like, fuck.
I refuse to give. I refuse to give anything 10.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, there's like you. I don't know what it would take to get to a 10, but the highest I would rate something is a 9.5. Period.
Yeah, and the thing
I don't
is,
even know what to go about that.
We rated the Batman as a 9, and I feel like the Batman is still a better movie than Deadpool and Wolverine in its own way. But like, so I feel like
in its own way. Like, yeah, I can agree with that. Like, you can never. It's apples and oranges, but individually they are great, and I stand by those scalings.
I just wish we didn't rate the Batman right after seeing it because we saw it and we rated it. Yeah, I wish we gave it some time to sink in it and then rated it. But
I still think it's a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So here's the deal, guys. Of all three of our ratings, we have an 8, an 8.5, and a 9. That gives an average of actually an 8.5. So we are officially stamping Deadpool and Wolverine as an 8.5 out of 10, guys. That leaves us. Surprisingly, I thought that we had more movies higher than this, but we only have The Batman at 9. Second place goes to Deadpool and Wolverine with an 8.5. And third place goes to Guardians Volume 3 with an 8.23. So we rated Deadpool and Wolverine better than Guardians 3.
I feel like Guardians got like Part 3 should be a little higher though. Like I feel like that should be like an 8.5 low-key.
So to be honest though, I agree with the rating. I think that Deadpool and Wolverine I liked better than Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But
yeah.
I don't know. And Spider-Man No Way Home is at an 8. So that is our top 4. We have Spider-Man No Way Home at 8, and then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse at a 7.96. So that's our top 5. Is Deadpool and Wolverine at number 2 with an 8.5. So
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it either. I think I agree with it. I think that's a really solid rating. And like I said, guys, that's our official comic book approval rating is an 8.5 out of 10. So that's that, guys. I don't know if you agree. Do you disagree? Let us know. But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid rating for this movie.
Definitely worth a watch.
Definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Highly recommend going. Like, it's a fun movie. That's all it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't go with expectations. Just enjoy the ride.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, if you're a comic book nerd like us, and you're just loving comic books and just like comic movies and stuff like that, then you would probably like this movie a lot more than if you don't. So, just a quick warning: your significant other who isn't into Marvel or anything like that probably won't understand a lot of the jokes, but you will, and you might enjoy it a lot more. And you guys will probably have different ratings, but that's okay. So you're just gonna have to spend time talking about it with them and explaining it to them. So that's really it. But guys, that's it, guys. That is it. 8.5 for Deadpool and Wolverine. We finally rated this. Now, the next thing that we are probably going to end up rating is Batman Caped Crusader when we watch the movie, when we finish the show. I'd be interested in actually watching the show fully and seeing if we actually like it a lot because we've heard good things. So we might actually end up rating that next. But the next thing to come out is, I don't remember if it's going to be Joker 2 or if it's going to be Captain America. I think both of them come out in October.
Joker. Wait, Captain America's coming in October?
Yeah.
Am I tripping out?
No, I think...
I thought that was more towards the end of the year. What's coming out
next year?
End of the year?
No?
I don't know.
Because we had two things. It was like stuff that was coming out. Wasn't...
A Brave New World is coming out next year.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Kraven is coming out.
Oh. It's coming out in February. I thought it was still October. Joker's coming out in October. I know that.
Yeah. I think Kraven's supposed to come out this month. No?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's coming out soon. Like, that might be our next one that we're rating.
Kraven's coming out December. So Joker 2 comes out, and then Kraven. And then Captain America.
Venom is coming out in October.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm even looking forward to that one.
So I'm not going to lie. So Joker comes out October 4th. Venom 3.
It's October 25th, I think.
October 25th. Both of those are very close to my child's birth. So I am not entirely sure. I'm definitely not going to be able to watch these movies in theaters. And honestly, I would only want to watch Joker 2 in theaters. I'm definitely not watching Venom 3 in theaters. That's a giant waste to me. But we'll rate those movies too. So the next movie, because it's August now, there's nothing coming out in September. Agatha. Agatha, the TV show, is coming out in September. But other than that, there's no like movie coming out in September. It's just the show. So we'll probably rate that too. But yeah, guys, that's it. Thank you all for coming down. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and let us know if you agree with our rating officially of Deadpool here and Wolverine. But that's it for now. We'll be in episode 89 probably next week or the week after, but stay tuned. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, everybody.